Nice and slow. Take it easy.
Absolutely nothing can prepare you for this 500-mile drive.
Spectacular crashes, surprises.
You'd be lucky to make it all 500 miles.
Crazy, fast, and risky.
Because the wrath of Talladega finds everyone.
3 wide. Locked together. Door to door.
But good luck.
This is about the time all hell breaks loose.
This is Talladega.
Look at that full infield and packed grandstand. Welcome to Fox's coverage of the Geico 500 from Talladega, Alabama. Fastest racetrack on earth. Built in the late 1960s for high speed and to be faster than anywhere else, and it rarely disappoints. A perfect day for racing, and boy, were we due for one. After a tough spring, today it's crawling up on 70 degrees, the track temp 110, and a cloudless sky to greet these drivers who will go 500 miles in 3 stages of 55, 55, and 78 laps. Radio issues on Kurt Busch's car. They're going to sort that out, and then he will reclaim his spot on the outside of the front row once communication is established.
Electronics are a crazy thing, aren't they, Mike? They work 1 minute and the next minute they don't.
Let's take a look at the Geico starting grid for today's 500-mile race. Teammates Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch in Fords on the front row. Toyota teammates Mark Truex, Denny Hamlin. For row number 2, Chase Elliott Chevy and Eric Jones in a Toyota. And row 3, Ricky Stenhouse, last year's winner, and Clint Boyer, both in Fords. And rounding out the top 10, Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. Between them, the Penske Ford drivers have won 4 of the last 5 at Talladega. Nice run for David Reagan in qualifying, making it into the final round with Alex Bowman, the top dozen.
How about we talk to our pole winner, Kevin Harvick? Hey, Kevin, this is Jeff up in the booth. You got me?
10-4, Jeff.
Well, man, you guys have a fast hot rod there. You guys really were aggressive yesterday in qualifying to get that pole. But I'm hearing a lot of drivers talk about handling being so important in the race. How's that car going to drive in the race today?
Well, in race trim yesterday in practice, it drove fine, so you never really can tell exactly where you need to be handling-wise until you get the whole group. So if it's not right, we'll adjust on it. You know, a lot of the Hendrick cars were really aggressive in Daytona and seemed to race well. So we'll see where that handling falls and go from there.
Well, all of us got to watch you from home by you doing the broadcast yesterday. So I'm curious, did you learn anything up in the booth yesterday that can help you for today?
Well, I learned that it's not over until it's over. As we saw with Spencer Gallagher, he led his first Xfinity lap ever in his whole career, and it was to win the race. So just an exciting place to watch, and we had a lot of fun up there in the booth yesterday, and definitely getting ready to have some more fun in this Busch Ford down here today. So it'll be intense, and just got to keep yourself at the front, try to stay out of the mess, and even there we can figure out how to wreck every once in a while. So never know. We're going to be on offense today and go from there.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're not going to be able to miss you in that paint scheme today. Have a good one. Thanks.
10-4. Thank you.
That plaid is fast. That plaid flannel on Kevin Harvick's car starting from the pole. Let's go back to row 8 and the Daytona 500 runner-up.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace, let's see what he's up to today. Bubba Wallace, it's DW here, buddy. You got me?
Hey, what's going on?
You are, my man. Listen, you drove the perfect race at Daytona. You came home second. Can you? What can we expect out of you today? Are you going to get that kind of result today?
I wish I could say that already, but you never know what happens with these plate races. So just trying to do the best at managing our car, managing our own race, and try to stay out of harm's way. You know how that goes. It's not the easiest thing to do here. So hoping everybody plays nice, but I think our guys did a hell of a job on our Petty's Garage today and make Chevrolet. So can't thank them enough for the opportunity to go out here and do good on another plate race. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Drew gave you a nice car at Daytona, really handled well. How's the handle in the car today?
Yeah, they gave me a really good car. It was so good we wanted to sell it. So we're giving ourselves a new challenge here. But I think it's a little bit better for today. I think we're a little bit faster. Trying to do some bold moves there to learn from older guys, the veteran guys in practice. So made some moves to keep the car out front. So we'll see. It's just everything goes out the window here. It's all everybody for yourself. So we'll see what happens.
All right, buddy. Be cool and have a great day.
Thanks, guys. You too.
A bit of drama before we start. They have checked the radios in Kurt Busch's outside pole-sitting car, and they are working fine. Now, those radios are wired to the driver's helmet. There's a microphone boom, and then hooked up to earpieces that also have a juncture to that harness at the helmet, and there's a switch on the steering wheel to activate the transmit button on the radio. All of those are being replaced. You can't run this race without radios. Let's get other pit road late breaking stories, beginning with Jamie Little.
Good afternoon, Mike. Well, 1 year ago, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. realized his dream of winning a Cup Series race. That car he drove into victory lane here at Talladega, while owner Jack Roush gave it to his driver. He owns it, and right now it's sitting in the Roush Museum back in North Carolina. As for the car today, I talked to his crew chief, Brian Patty. He told me he doesn't feel like it has that same raw speed, but he has confidence in that driver. They can get it done today, but he said the key is keeping his driver patient, keeping him calm, and keeping him focused start to finish. Vince?
Well, Team Penske has won 4 of the last 5 races here at Talladega, and Ryan Blaney hopes to contend or keep that trend rolling again today. He's never won on a restrictor plate race, but he's been close, including runner-up at last year's Daytona 500. Now, he rolls off deeper in the field, but they set up the car more for race comfort and stability rather than qualifying speed, so they're confident they'll be able to get to the front. Yesterday, Blaney was part of our drivers-only telecast, and he was the reporter in victory lane doing the winner's interview. Hopes to be back in victory lane today, but this time is the one being interviewed as the winner at Talladega. Matt?
Vince, no driver's been more excited about coming back to Talladega than Eric Almirola, half a lap away back in February of winning the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Different race car than he had at the 500, but a mechanical issue during qualifying forces him to start at the back. Now, he's not going to be the Lone Ranger. There is company back there with Jimmy McMurray, but he told me intensity is certainly going to be high with the concern of possibly losing the draft. Look for the 10 car to head his way to the front quickly. Now to Alabama's favorite crew chief, Larry McReynolds.
Yeah,
Larry,
Matt, in Friday's practice during the draft, we saw speeds at almost 204 miles per hour. You heard Mike Joy talk about Jamie McMurray's crash on the back straightaway. NASCAR decided after that we needed to make a change. Now, it was a small change, but it was a change, and it had to do with the restrictor plate under the throttle body. Let's go to our Ford Performance Cutaway car, and let's talk about the restrictor plate. It goes right underneath the throttle body, and what it actually does, it restricts airflow. It cuts the horsepower back. Now, last year at Daytona, we were with a 7/8 inch, but what they did, they reduced it by a 64th of an inch to 55/64. Maybe it doesn't sound like much, but it's about 12 to 14 horsepower. But in my book, I feel strongly it will not make a difference in the racing here today in the big pack racing. Let's take a look at our race analysis now. 188 laps, 500 miles. The stages, 55, 55, and 78. Pit road speed, 55 miles per hour. The fuel window, a little better with this smaller restrictor plate than last year, 46 to 50 laps. Now, going to the rear of the field, Jamie McMurray, Ty Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Newman for backup cars, Eric Almirola in that 10-car unapproved adjustments, and Mike Chase Elliott, who had a great qualifying effort to the rear, an unapproved tire change.
Thanks, Larry. The field is split in 2, so drivers have a pace car at the beginning of each of those 20-car packs to plan their pit road speed. Kurt Busch is getting into position on the outside front row. He's the first of several drivers we talked to about how you make it to the finish at Talladega.
That's kind of the mindset you go into Talladega with, is to finish.
But now stage points and the fact that those are so very important. We now have 2 added checkered flags to enhance things and to make things more exciting.
It's so difficult because you're in such a big pack of cars all the time, and if something happens, there's just really not a whole lot of options to get through it.
Different challenges at this racetrack that are sometimes in your control, but more often than not out of your control, to be able to have a shot at the win.
Now the field forming up without Kurt Busch, who is making a lap to come around and catch up the field. And we talked to Clint Boyer.
We got to be smart too on our end. We obviously know the people we do and don't want to be around and the situations we get in. So, use your judgment, your experience, along with him, and got to finish before we worry about anything else.
4 man, sounds good. Let's try to win this thing.
4 man. Yep, take care of them. We'll be in at the end. We'll be all right.
Boyer will roll off 8th. I said don't bet on a favorite. Why? Because so many drivers have won their first and in many cases only Cup Series race. Here at Talladega, beginning with the very first Talladega 500, Richard Brickhouse, the winner in 1969. Phil Parsons, the last to do that, 1988. Well, what does our supercomputer program Bernie have to say about who will finish this race up front? Does Bernie like the dark horses, or is he going with the favorites?
Going with the favorites.
Oh.
I'd put those 3 up. Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski,
I believe
as some of the best here that have a great shot at winning today.
I think so, Jeff. I think experience is huge at this race under these conditions.
Fellas, were you not paying attention yesterday? I know we weren't doing the telecast. That driver's group was. But Spencer Gallagher came out of nowhere to lead only the last lap in the 2-lap shootout and win his first Xfinity race.
No, don't get me wrong, Mike. Those are the favorites. I don't know if the favorite's going to win.
Oh, okay.
But, Mike, that was yesterday, and yesterday's gone.
That's right.
But I don't know that I like that one-hit wonder. Could we just say one-win wonder?
We could.
Because I've had a lot of hits here.
Yes, that's true.
And I'm still wondering about some of them.
Aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. Everything they learned making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours from Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. The infield at Talladega was sold out a couple of months ago. All those infield spaces sold. The grandstand nearly full. And here you see cars will drop to the back as mandated.
Yeah, I heard the 9 car had a little cut in one of his tires from qualifying. Probably some of the debris came off of Eric Almirola's car.
And Mike, right now, I'm kind of checking my environment. Everything's like I want it. I got my mirrors where I want it, my steering wheel. I'm comfortable. I don't have any distractions. I'm ready to go racing.
From 1 to 100, give me a number. What percentage of your destiny as a driver do you control today?
Maybe 1.
Yeah. I'd say it's about 25%. I think the crew has a lot to do with it. I think the spotter has a lot to do with it. I think the car has a lot to do with it. I think the driver has a little bit to do with it.
You control the brake pedal and the throttle pedal and the steering wheel. That's it. I say 3.
And remember,
outside of that, no way.
He just like this kid right here, there's only one guy inside that car.
Neil Bonnet had a bad day here at Talladega, went up in the air and over. And I asked him when he came to pit road, climbed out of the car, said, "You've battled everybody here today. Who do you think can win?" He said, "Pace car's got a good shot at it."
Yeah, baby. That's Talladega at its finest. Golly, I don't know about y'all. My hands are already sweating. My heart's already pounding.
Well, give us the words.
All right, guys, here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing at this big old Talladega racetrack, boys.
Pole sitter Kevin Harvick leads lap 1 from teammate Kurt Busch. Martin Truex Jr. in 3rd. Last year's winner Ricky Stenhouse 4th.
And Mike, we just went 2.6 miles in 1 lap, and the spotters are always saying, calm down, settle down, take it easy.
Now, the one driver that I think is going to be aggressive is this guy, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He tried to move outside to make a move, and it cost him. He actually got taken 3 wide by Denny Hamlin. He's going to the back.
He might have had a little bump there going into turn 1 from another car.
Yeah, Mike, and these guys across the board said, I cannot stand anybody touching my car. That's how edgy these things are right now.
But it's also how these cars draft. We saw this in Daytona. They get bigger runs than I've ever seen here, maybe in the last 15, 20 years. Because of that lower spoiler, the amount of speed they're carrying, they really get a big run. It's hard to block that.
Ricky Stenhouse just went from 4th to 23rd.
Wow. Just like that.
Ty Dillon wearing our Fox visor cam.
And Mike already, I mean, I know it's early. We're only running a couple of laps. What do they say about the cars, man?
DW, typically the spotter and driver will be on channel 1 during a race, and then the crew chief and spotter can converse on channel 2. But due to the issue with the 41's radio, Harvick's team will stay on channel 1. Their channel 2 will be utilized by the 41 of Kurt Busch. It was almost like a scene from Smoking the Bandit. When we say go to 10, we really mean go to 20. A little confusion at the beginning.
The Stewart-Haas teammates run 1, 2 in their Fords. Then Truex's Toyota, Logano's yellow Ford. Vince, how about the 41?
Yeah, you know, that's something that might rattle a younger driver, but Kurt Busch, obviously a lot of experience, a former champion, seemed very calm despite all the changes. They did have to replace his helmet, the team radios, and the steering wheel, all of the things that provide audio to Kurt. The problem was he couldn't hear the team. They could hear him fine, but you know, at this place, the driver's got to be able to hear everybody, especially that spotter.
Especially, absolutely. Denny Hamlin leading that outside line, and we've already split into 2 packs of cars. Larry.
Yeah, this first stage is 55 laps. And remember what I said about the fuel window. 46 to 50 laps. We saw it last year in stage racing. We saw it in the Daytona 500. If some teams can get organized, like maybe the Toyota group or the Ford group, over the next 8 to 10 laps, we may see them make a green flag pit stop for fuel only. That way they're done with their stop in this first stage, but it has to be an organized stop with no mistakes, and you can do that and still stay on the lead lap here.
It makes me really nervous, Mike and Jeff. Look how the cars are bunched up. You have to really orchestrate that. You've got to let people know what you're going to do, or you'll get run over trying to get on pit road.
Well, just getting to pit road here, you have to be super aggressive. The splitter hits the racetrack under braking. It's very easy to make mistakes here just trying to make a green flag stop.
And should you pit by yourself, you'll come out there and not have the benefit of the draft and not be able to catch up.
Mike, last time by, 2:02 in the draft.
Had a good bit of rain here Thursday and some weepers on Friday at the intersection between the track and the apron. That is all dried up now. Beautiful day to race. Track in perfect condition. Teammates up high. That's Denny Hamlin and the 20 of last year's Rookie of the Year, Eric Jones. Joe Gibbs Racing teammates. David Reagan with them in the 38.
I really thought with Denny Hamlin leading that outside charge that they would be able to move forward and maybe, you know, take a shot at the lead, but they're actually following back. The inside lane's far more organized and carrying more speed.
I think Hamlin's just pretty happy right there. There's not anybody in the outside lane except him, a few cars behind him now. I think he's just being comfortable and safe.
Eric Jones just left him and went to the bottom. Remember, Eric Almirola had that odd problem of the rear brake dragging in qualifying, tearing up his car, so he had to start out back. He's gained now 16 positions.
Well, those Stewart-Haas cars are all fast. I mean, you got 2 of them leading the race right now. You know he'll be up there before the day's over with.
Riding with Martin Truex. 202 miles per hour into the tri-oval.
Unless that engine, Mike, I mean, it hardly ever changes pitch. Pretty much the same all the way around the racetrack.
203 there going into turn 1. There's a little bit of a tailwind today. that the wind's starting to change a little bit to be a crosswind, but I do think right now is a little tailwind going into one.
And Jeff, you hear the engine again, and even through the turn, you don't hear the engine change pitch much at all. These cars are so free with those rear springs and the way the back of the car is. It's just not slowing down much in the corner, even from a straightaway.
And I think that has a lot to do with that rear spoiler being so much lower on the straightaways. Now it doesn't drag them down on the straightaways. They're able to maintain it through the corners.
I don't know how low they are, but I almost tripped over one of them when we were down there on pit road. Those suckers are on the ground.
Denny Hamlin in the 11 dropped all the way back to about 14th position. Went to the low side briefly, but he's still trying to make something happen up top along with David Reagan.
I wonder if he's having a little bit of overheating issue, if maybe he wants that clean air to the nose. Maybe they might have to adjust the tape on the grill.
That's certainly a strong possibility, because these guys, they don't know what they got until they get out there. But I just think he's in a safe place. I think he's feeling pretty comfortable riding along out on the outside by himself.
See how low that back bumper is. The back bumper extended for Daytona and Talladega. It hangs much lower than most tracks.
And look at how much it's bouncing. It's very rigid in the back. Now he's going to get down to that inside lane in front of Kyle Larson. But I think in order to get the car to stay down there that low, they have to run very stiff springs, or they have to compress the spring down and coil bind it, and that makes a really bumpy ride.
Rigid, just nothing giving but the rear tires. And Jeff, we've heard a little bit of a maybe concern about the left rear tire here, taking a lot of abuse and a punishment, and keep an eye on those left rear tires.
Well, yeah, Daryl, if the springs are really stiff and there's very little suspension, then that means the sidewall of that tire becomes the suspension.
What do you think? You want to jump out there and run a while?
I'm pretty good up here. I mean, this is the time in the race where, even if you're further back in line, like riding along here, Ty Dillon, your car's not handling great. You don't want to be there. You want to be further to the front. But I think things are going to really intensify either if green flag stops happening or when we get to the end of this stage.
10 laps complete in Talladega. When we come back, that pit window Larry Mack talked about should get pried open. $13 complete, pit road open, 12 cars are in. Matt.
A lot of fakes up and down pit road, but guys on the wall. Kevin Harvick, Justin White tops him off with fuel, as does pretty much everyone.
Well, that's the first salvo of green flag pit stops. Drivers thinking if we go green the whole rest of this stage, they can make it from here.
All Fords and one Toyota, I think, was in that group.
Here come the rest of the Joe Gibbs Toyotas.
And Larry, we've seen this so much over the last couple of years. Manufacturers all trying to work together to get in and out of the pits and on the track as well. Vince, what you got, buddy?
The 20 of Eric Jones came in, and like the others, fuel only. You see, I'm having to get a little bit of a trouble getting him pushed off. Now the 11 of Hamlin is in, Jamie.
Denny Hamlin was just playing around out there, seeing if he could start the second line. Car is good, really loose, Matt.
18 already topped off. Matt Tyrrell topped off that car. Not much conversation about the bounce, but we're hearing a lot of guys talking about free, especially off 4.
Boy, penalties here will bite you. Kurt Busch too fast entering. And that will require a drive through pit road at pit road speed, which is less than 1/3 race speed.
And Mike, you're going to see right here, the 41 car is going to dive under their leader here, the 4. And look how much faster the 41 coming to pit road.
Yeah, the rear tire started locking up. He lost control. He was just trying to hold on.
I think, and he's got an early pit. I think I understand what he was doing, but nonetheless, really got on there hot.
David Reagan too fast exiting.
Problem with the 14, Matt.
Early on, the priority was just trying to get to the low line for Boyer. You can see them extra time there on the right. He is away.
Yeah, pretty sure he must have had a tire going down.
"22 cars on track have not made pit stops. 22 lead lap cars, that is. Alex Bowman, who this year replaced Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Rick Hendrick number 88, out in front of Bubba Wallace.
Going back to that 41 car coming onto pit road, this is what I was talking about. They were real aggressive qualifying by skewing the back of the car to the left to try to get that spoiler out of the air. When he went to the brakes, that car really jumped sideways so easily. I think, handling's going to be an issue, and also now getting on pit road.
Jamie?
Well, you look at Bubba Wallace running second right now in the 43. That's exactly where he finished at Daytona. Everybody talked about that finish. And interesting, I talked to his crew chief this morning, Drew Blickensturfer, and he told me the car from Daytona, they actually sold it and used the money to build a brand new race car with all the new bells and whistles for this race. Remember, they're a smaller team. Right now, he's pretty happy with it. They're calculating right now when they want to pit, Vince.
Well, how about the rookie William Byron? Started 17th up to 3rd. Remember, it's just his 10th Cup race in his young career. His first time running a Cup car here at Talladega. Right before the race, his crew chief Darian Grubb leaned in and had a conversation with William. I asked what was the conversation, and he said the message was one thing: take what the track gives us. That's all we want to do. That will allow us, hopefully, to be there at the end, and that's the goal.
That is great advice, because the average age of the front four you're looking at right here, 23.
Yeah, that's a bunch of rabbits right there with a bunch of hounds chasing after them.
Chief among the hounds, 5th place, Jimmy Johnson, at age 42, 7-time champion. NASCAR's youth movement runs out front at Talladega after 18 laps. A dozen of the early leaders at Talladega have already made a green flag pit stop. 11 of those 12 are still on the lead lap. The first 21 drivers, from Alex Bowman back to DJ Kennington, including this whole group, have not yet pitted after 21 laps.
Well, I think what we heard talk about, all the Fords pitted together, and I think if you look here, we probably got 5 or 6 Chevrolets. I think they're going to try to pit together.
How about 13 out of the first 14 are Chevrolets?
Exactly. I think there's a manufacturer strategy here. We've seen it work before, and I think they may be employing that today.
Well, we're seeing that second car in line there, the yellow car, Michael McDowell. He made a pit stop with those other leaders and lost his drafting help. He's actually a lap down right now to Alex Bowman.
All right, let's check with Matt.
Several cars reporting temperatures running a little bit high before that stop. Brad Keselowski says his continues to climb. His spotter, Joey Meyer, was looking to see if possibly debris was on that grill, and if so, to try to hook up with someone to get behind to change that air pressure to get it off.
Well, there you see it, a piece of plastic on the front end of Keselowski's number 2. It won't come off. It'll stay right there until he gets a car just in front of him, and the air pressure differential will lift that from the grill. Keselowski is the highest car in the running order that has already pitted. He's in 17th place. "23 laps complete at the world's fastest speedway." Now a quick word from the Busch guy and the number 4 crew.
The flannel's better, am I right?
Busch.
There he is.
And there's the Busch guy up on the pit box. We know flannel is fast. Kevin Harvick put that car on the pole, and after his pit stop currently runs 25th, right behind Ryan Blaney. But remember, now the first 16 cars have not yet been to pit road, and we've been green since the start of this race. Larry Mack?
Mike, when we looked at the front of Brad Keselowski's car, the viewer may have said, wait a minute, that's way up there at the front bumper area. But NASCAR here in Daytona, our restrictor plate tracks, they mandate that the opening is up here in the bumper, where everywhere else we race, it's down here. And you can see 23 inches wide, 2 1/4. It has to be at least that wide and that tall, but you can run tape. And to me, looking, they have tape on the nose of that 2 car, and now the debris is even magnifying it, which is the reason the temperature is coming up.
And Mike, you might say, so now why would they want to move that opening up or down? Think about it. If that's the opening to your radiator and that's your bumper, you're going to take care of that opening when you start running into the back of somebody.
That group of cars has mostly all pitted under the green flag back at lap 13 or 14. Up in the lead pack, Alex Bowman leads rookie William Byron and Kyle Larson. Jamie.
Larson started this race 22nd up to third. Now, if you remember back to the last plate race we ran, his car was so extremely loose at Daytona. It was like every time he put wheel into it, he would spin out. So I talked to his crew chief, Chad Johnston, this morning. He said they really took a different approach here, tightened him up quite a bit, and it's been better. And the reason he did that, he wants his driver to be able to be more aggressive in the draft, and it's been working so far today. He's a little bit loose when he runs the top side, but on the bottom, it's a little bit tight, and that's where they want him.
Larson's number 42 for Chip Ganassi Racing, running third. A couple of lap cars separate him from the leaders.
Mike, I know we're accustomed to seeing that 88 car run up front, but that's the first laps that William Byron or Bowman has led at this Talladega racetrack.
27 laps complete at the world's fastest speedway on Fox.
Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Racing Geico 500 is sponsored by Monster Energy, official sponsor of NASCAR.
30 laps complete in this Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race from Talladega. William Byron right behind teammate Alex Bowman. Bubba Wallace in the 43. Now Eric Almirola.
They give a lot of credit.
Jimmy Johnson.
Give a lot of credit to the 20 of Eric Jones, trying to stay from going another lap down.
Vince?
It's interesting. You just saw Jimmy Johnson move from the bottom up to the top, as a lot of cars are doing that to help with their handling issues. Jimmy says, and Daryl and Jeff, this would be for you to help explain a little bit, that he's really comfortable until the second load up. And then he feels like he's driving it through the front tires, and it's not so comfortable.
Yeah, I think with the way these cars are today, with their no ride heights, that spoiler so far out of the air, I think that transition from the straightaway into the corner, the car is very, very edgy until it gets loaded up. But then it sounds like it's really changing the balance.
Yeah, I think he says I can catch it once, but I'm having a hard time catching it twice.
Well, now let's go back to the pack of cars here that have made their pit stop, trying to catch up.
Let the driver know the Ford's having a hard time staying on the back. Are wanting us to move up through the triangle so they can hold on, because they're having to lift because they're too loose, and they can stay tighter in the pack. If you can move up a little bit, we'll be fine. I just need to relay that message to Joey.
All right, so that's the instruction to Brad Keselowski. Can he run a little higher in the tri-oval? If Joey stays right on his bumper, that will help Kevin Harvick stay with them. Why?
And there's a slight transition change on that very bottom lane through the tri-oval when they repaved this track several years ago. It's always been there where it upsets the car, but I think with these cars not handling very good and being so unstable, I don't think if you're this far back like where Kevin Harvick is, you're going to be able to have a car that can stick down there.
Matt?
Mike, you saw it a year ago with the move to Ford, how SHR and Team Penske working together on the plate tracks, and that's what they're doing here. TJ Majors, Joey Meyer, and Timmy Theodore trying to work together. Harvick just can barely hold on to that race car. He told Rodney Childers, you're going to have to take a big swing at our next stop because the car extremely free.
And I talked to Kevin Harvick about this, when we talked to him before the race started, they were very aggressive in qualifying to win the pole. Their car was skewed more than any other car to take that spoiler out of the air, and I think it's starting to catch up with them.
And Mike, just think about it. Why would you run high? It's a bigger radius. You don't have to turn the wheel so much. You can turn the wheel a lot less, which means that back end's going to stay under you a little bit better if you don't have to turn that wheel so hard.
So there is the group that pitted. They are on the back straightaway. They are about half a lap behind the leaders who have not pitted in these first 34 laps. That's 14 cars strong from Alex Bowman back to Brendan Gaughan in the 62. And one of those cars is the car you saw flipping on Friday, Jamie McMurray in the 1. Jamie Little.
These race car drivers and what they can overcome mentally and physically. Jamie, I believe it was 6.5 barrel rolls on Friday. First time he's ever flipped over like that in a race car. He said today his eye sockets just still a bit sore, body overall sore. But he was ready to get back to business, back to work today. His crew chief Matt McCall, I asked him this morning, you know, the concern for his driver being in the backup car. He said, we don't have any concerns, right? And this is what happened on Friday during second practice. But Matt McCall told me his expectation of his driver today. He knows Jamie. He said, I expect him to stand on the gas and go for the win. So that exactly is what he's doing. Started in the back of the field today and now running top 10.
That's tough.
That was a scary moment.
It is, Mike, and not only was it the flipping and all that goes on the driver inside the car, he got hit hard in the driver's door by the 31 car of Newman, so he got a double whammy.
There he is riding 7th just in front of Ty Dillon. Alex Bowman leads at Talladega 35 laps in.
Throughout the season, Ford will be searching for the most passionate NASCAR fans to become the first ever inductees into the Ford Hall of Fans. To learn more, go to NASCAR.com/Ford.
39 laps complete, and we have a new leader. Alex Bowman tried to lap Eric Jones in the 20, got bottled up there with the 34, also trying to stay on the lead lap, and that's caused trouble. Michael McDowell now just ahead of the Kings colors. You see Dayglow red and Petty blue. You don't even need a number. That's the 43 of Richard Petty, and Bubba Wallace at the wheel. He's our new leader.
I tell you, there's just nobody like Bubba Wallace. I'm telling you, he's a cool cat, cool kid.
Jamie?
And Bubba Wallace in the 43. He was joking yesterday. He was one of our pit reporters for the Drivers Only broadcast. He's listening to the guys in the booth, the Hollywood Hotel, eating pizza and ice cream. So afterwards, he went back to the coach lot. They had a huge crawfish boil. Look at this. Of course, Bubba's from Mobile, Alabama. He still has some family that lives here, so they brought all this crawfish over. Of course, his buddy Blaney hanging out too. The boys did a great job on the broadcast yesterday. And Mike, sometimes that's how we feel down here. We hear you guys in the AC eating that ice cream. They got a taste of it.
Well done by all yesterday. So Wallace now has the lead from Bowman. Jimmy Johnson up to 3rd. Kyle Larson to 4th. Chase Elliott 5th. William Byron back to 6th. McMurray, Buscher, Allmendinger, Dillon. The top 10, all Chevrolet.
Boy, really starting to see some movement from these cars sliding around as they go down to that bottom lane. Heard some drivers say they like that top lane a lot better. The one thing that Alex Bowman didn't calculate when he was leading this race and tried to lap the 20 car of Eric Jones, he didn't factor in he had the 34 of McDowell, a lap car behind him. No way McDowell goes with him. McDowell's trying to get his lap back. He ended up going with Eric Jones, left Bowman out to hang.
And there's Michael McDowell at the front of this group on the tail end of the lead lap. Vince.
Well, and Alex Bowman, even though he's led the most laps, he has had a handful. That car is loose, and he says it's loose no matter where he runs. Now, a lot of those on the bottom, they like the bottom because of the lap time, or they like the top because it helps the handling of the car. Bowman said it doesn't matter where I run, it's just loose everywhere. Looking forward to a pit stop and an adjustment to help snug him up.
And they'll fix that soon. In fact, this time, we're coming around to 12 laps to go in stage 1. The leader, Bubba Wallace, will pit. Drivers talking about different driving lines.
You guys want to go to the bottom here, so just be prepared here. Miscommunication on why we went to the bottom. We should have stayed at the top. Just keep working that bottom. We're all a little faster down there, so the Hendrick cars want to move back down there, so just heads up. We're definitely faster on the bottom by about half a second.
Still outside. 24 is screaming tight on the bottom too, so it's half and half, Greg. I can't get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, it's just such a shorter line. This track is so wide that top lane is just so much longer, Daryl. And so I know the cars might be handling a little bit better up there, but they're still losing speed.
What I love is everybody has a plan until your plan doesn't work.
Now, the leader did not pit that time. However, Ryan Newman did. Jamie?
And Ryan Newman came in, he wanted a wedge adjustment, and he took 4 tires there, so he came in essentially by himself. They're telling the leader, Bubba Wallace, to pit right now. They're coming in.
Most of those Chevrolets peel off to pit road.
Larson sideways.
And he hauls it in.
Adjustment.
That was close. Oh, my gosh.
That yellow line is the commitment line. Vince.
Well, the 88 of Alex Bowman certainly glad to be in here. They're going to make chassis adjustment, track bar, and wedge to help snug him up. No tires, just fuel, Jamie.
Bubba Wallace in the 43 car was not handling good up front and behind those other cars. He's in and out. They filled him with fuel, guys.
See very few tire changes on that round of stops.
Yeah, I kind of thought the 42 may be forced to change tires, Mike, because we saw him getting loose, getting in, but apparently they went with gas, fuel only.
And when Boyer came in earlier, it was because he flat spotted a right rear tire, locking it up, coming to pit road. Man. What an amazing job by both him and his teammate McMurray, just keeping that car going straight.
Boy, those two almost got together as they did last Saturday night at Richmond.
I didn't see the tire locking up, so I don't know if it's flat spotted, but definitely he had his hands full.
Yeah, Bowman did a nice job there too, letting those guys have a little room to recover.
Majorly squat slides there. Comes to the line.
Now, Eric Almirola did change tires, Matt.
Mike, right side tires for Almirola. He's been complaining about the car just sliding the nose, especially on exit, just fighting tight. But they had an issue on the right rear during the stop, lost a few extra seconds.
So he's now 23rd. That will cycle the drivers who stopped at lap 13 and 14 back to the front of the field, led by Penske teammates Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano. We'll take you side by side. 48 laps complete, working lap 49. Stage 1 ends at lap 55. Cars that pitted early. Back out front, led by Keselowski's number 2 and Joey Logano's 22. The 41 of Kurt Busch had to come down pit road a second time because he was too fast entering on his pit stop. So he is on the tail end of the lead lap and trying to stay in the free pass position. That battle is David Reagan and Brendan Gaughan for to be the first car one lap down.
And Mike, there's no question why that 41 car is so fast. I mean, look how much it's skewed to the left. That is a lot to try to race that car around here. That makes that car pretty loose.
Hey, Larry, something I found interesting. We saw those other leaders stay out a lot longer than the leaders that came so early. They didn't take any tires. I thought they might at least take 2 tires so they maybe didn't have to stop at the brake or at least take tires at the brake.
Well, I did see some drivers that did take just rights, like Eric Almirola, Jamie McMurray, Daniel Suarez, as well as William Byron. So you may feel like they have a little different strategy when it comes to the end of this stage here in about 6 laps. But one thing I'm seeing, remember that spoiler being down hurts the drivability of the car. Getting it up helps it. Everybody on their adjustments, including Greg Ives with Alex Bowman, they basically are raising the rear of the car. We've seen so many mistakes on pit road, and these guys learn from their mistakes. I was just watching the 48 crew on our Eagle system. Now remember, you can have 4 crew members and a fuel man. Watch the fuel man right there. But look at these 2 guys. They're just running safety for the fuel man in case he can't get the can out. They are there to keep that can inside that box. So you learn from your mistakes, and I don't think anybody's better in the business to doing that than Chad Knaus.
And his car with Jimmy Johnson aboard is the first of the cars that did not stop until lap 44. He's in 10th place.
And Larry, it's just those details. It's the little things that so many people overlook. The blind obvious.
Brad Keselowski out front. Here's Matt.
Mike, something new in 2018, engine limitations and having to use an engine for a second time. That's been the focus for Brad Keselowski. They right now currently 20 degrees under where they need to be temperature-wise, but there is concern.
Don't want to be running our engine temps close to limits here, Brad, so if pushing him is making our temps high, I want to move out. We're fine right now. We're 20, 30 under. We just keep it there. It's time over temperature. Take care of it now early in the race. You got it, bud. You got it. We're doing good.
It's that temperature that just kills an engine, particularly a restrictor plate engine.
Well, and these engines they're going to try to use in Daytona, so even more reason to take care of it. Now, we got another same situation that we had before, where we've got the car leading this pack is actually just trying to stay in the lead lap of Kurt Busch. Had an issue earlier on pit road speeding. Now he's leading this group. Now these guys have to decide, are we okay with him leading in our group, or do we want to try to pass him?
Well, if that was him and a Ford running second and a Ford running third, I might help him
work together
a little bit.
But third is a Toyota. Fourth and fifth are also Toyotas. and then 4 more Fords, and then a whole bunch of Chevrolets. When we get to 2 laps to go in the stage, when they come around, pit road will close. And we'll have 2 laps left in stage 1. Let's go back to 17th place in our Daytona 500 winner, Austin Dillon. Jamie?
Yeah, and on that last run, Mike, he was a little bit tight. He just didn't have the turnability in the corners that he was looking for. So on pit road, they didn't take tires, they took fuel, and they made a track bar adjustment. Now, we haven't heard that term on pit road in quite some time, because these drivers now can adjust those track bars from inside the car, but not here today. I'm going to throw it to Larry Mack. Why would NASCAR take those track bar adjusters out of the car here, Larry, and make the pit crews adjust during the pit stop?
Jamie, at Daytona in February, when we went to the no ride height rule, they gave them the driver adjustable track bar, but they were using it more than tuning the race car. They were using it to basically skew the car and get the right side of the body and the spoiler out of the air. NASCAR took it away for this race here.
Wow, this stage cannot end quick enough for Bubba Wallace. He has run out of racetrack. He is that close to the wall all the way around.
Look for some big adjustments coming to that 43 car when this stage ends.
Yeah.
And look for some possible moves for the win here of this stage 2. Those playoff points are big. Look, there goes Denny Hamlin going to try to make a move. Can anybody go with him?
Hey, Jeff, I talked about guys raising the rear of the car. They actually lowered the rear of Bubba Wallace's car, and I think that's hurt the handling of that race car.
Well, that's the same Keselowski has going for him right now is his teammate Joey Logano behind him. Probably won't make a big move here.
Always love it when somebody said, well, why didn't you pass him? Well, did you ever think about he was faster than me? I just couldn't. I'd like to.
Here they come for stage 1. Kurt Busch stays on the lead lap. Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Martin Truex, Kyle Busch are the front 4. As the green and white checkers wave to end stage 1. Brad Keselowski picks up his 4th stage win of 2018, tied for the most with Kevin Harvick.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Matt Holzbar, tire carrier on the 34 Ford Loves car, and we came in on lap 13 for fuel only, put off without a hitch, and we're back out there waiting to see how this cycles out for the stage.
And his driver, Michael McDowell, 18th position on the lead lap, as are the first 25 cars. Kurt Busch stayed on the lead lap with that run to the flag. David Reagan maintained the position, first car 1 lap down, so he will get the free pass. Pit road will be open. Will there be anyone who doesn't want tires? Doubtful.
I know what I would want.
Yep. Ty Dillon came in early with a problem with his left rear tire. Now let's go in the pit with our CR, presented by eBay Motors.
Before each race, crew members ready a limited selection of NASCAR-allowed replacement parts and pieces. In the event of contact, crews will have 6 minutes to complete the repairs on pit road, so having replacement components ready is a must.
You might not have a fully stocked pit crew at home, but you can find virtually every part to repair or upgrade your ride on eBay Motors.
Shop every part for every ride at ebay.com/motors.
Give me 4 fresh ones, Darrell.
Yeah, give me those stickers. I want to see the paper fly off of them.
Yeah, guys, I could not imagine they won't all take 4 tires, and I'm sure a lot of them are looking forward to making some serious adjustments.
How's that go? Give me fuel, give me fire, give me tires that I desire.
Amen. For Mr. Feelgood, that's what they're looking for.
Pit road is open, and here come the lead lap cars. Vince.
Well, the 12 of Ryan Blaney pitting from the 12th position. Blaney's going to have a clear entry and exit. That certainly helps. The car's a little tight, so they're going to put some extra air in that right rear. Jamie, 4 tires.
And Denny Hamlin in the 11 said he's just a little too twitchy getting into the corner. They're going to take a Packer out of the left front and 4 tires, Matt.
And Brad Keselowski utilizing the red snap-on colors. They give him extra visuals, just right side tires for the 2. Also, 2 tires for the 22 was the game plan of Logano, his teammate. The 78 of Truex, way too free, especially entry into 3, but he was good everywhere else.
Keselowski wins the Sunoco race off pit road from his teammate Logano, Paul Menard, William Byron. Here are the first 5 off pit road.
Well, you say we call up the old stage 1 winner here and see how he's doing. Hey, Brad Keselowski, it's DW, buddy. You got me here?
How are you, DW?
Doing well, man, but not near as good as you are. Congratulations on that stage win. Hey, Brad, we talked to you before the race down on the grid there, and you seemed a little concerned about the handling of the cars and how the cars are going to react around each other. What have you figured out in these first 55 laps?
Yeah, it's about what expected. Cars are really evil, and looks like the middle lane and the high lane doesn't have any speed because you can't get any pushes up there without wrecking. So just have to be really disciplined.
All right, buddy, you're pretty good at that, so good luck. We'll see you maybe at the end of the next stage.
That sounds good, DW. Let's make it a day.
Well, pole sitter Kevin Harvick took a long time on pit road. He comes out 24th. We'll follow up on that in a minute. Brad Keselowski, winner of stage 1. Getting ready for stage 2 at Talladega, and 2 of the sports stars had difficulty or long stops during this sequence. First, Kevin Harvick. Watch the mechanic putting in the wedge wrench, and that is 6 turns on the left and matched on the right.
I'd just use the air gun if I'd have been him.
And that's just an effort to get that rear spoiler up in the air, try to get a little bit more downforce in the back of the car and some stability. Here's a 78 having some issues.
Watch the right rear. Because that tire's tucked way up under there, the car wasn't quite high enough in the air for the tire changer to hang the tire and tighten the lugs. That took extra time. And he goes from 3rd to 20th. They had an issue that may well have cost Martin the race last week at Richmond on pit road late in the race. Here it is.
Similar situation. Problem with the jack.
Just didn't get it high enough.
Get another lick on it.
Yeah.
Is that Martin steaming? Or is that the car?
I'd be me if I'm driving that car. I'd be me.
Truex will restart 19th, 20th, 10th row. Back there.
And Mike, you asked that question. On a day when a car's maybe not so good, you can let that go. But on a day when you had a shot at winning that race and that happens, not so easy to let go.
Guys, I just question those just changing right sides, but what I do like is what William Byron's crew did, McMurray and Suarez. They did just less because they had changed rights late in that first stage.
All right, we'll see how it plays out here. The Penske teammates, Keselowski, Logano, on the front row as they approach the Geico restart zone. Keep an eye on the 21 of Paul Menard. He's one of those dark horse drivers in a Woods Brother car. Teammate to the Penske cars lined up right with him. William Byron in row 2. Here we go.
You know, Paul's just been lurking back there and been a top 5 or 6 most of this race.
We kind of saw this at the beginning of the race with teammates Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch, where they work together. We're seeing kind of the same thing, the two, but not going to work out because William Byron has such a great run that Keselowski's going to have to block that move.
Boy, Byron is right there, and I mean, I know he's trying to stay off the back of that 2 car, but that Jamie McMurray car is giving him a ride, buddy.
He's going to get to the outside of our leader, Keselowski. William Byron going for the lead here at Talladega.
What about that? Him and Darian Grubb, they got that old 24 car wound up today. Whoa!
Oh, he's going to try to get down and block that inside move.
Oh, that was close.
Byron, no stranger to restrictor plate racing, won the Xfinity Series race at Daytona last July.
I like it. These guys have some fresh rubber, a little bit more grip, more stability right now, so they're being more aggressive.
Boy, that 1 car, McMurray, he looked like he was really, really loose coming off turn 2 there. Chased it all the way up the hill.
The college sophomore, 20 years old, didn't start racing till he was 15. That's old by today's standards. But here he is in the lead.
McMurray got a nice shove from the 11 of Denny Hamlin as they went off into turn 3.
Boy, I really think that 1 car, though, of McMurray's, it looks free to me. It looks like he's just sliding off the corner. Just think, I mean, McMurray Friday was upside down. And today, here he is trying to take the lead.
All right, let's listen to Tab Boyd, William Byron spotter.
You're cool. The 1 is still with you. He's going to give you the best boost here. Looking to the yep, you're good. Oh, he got loose and he fell off of you. 22 still inside. We're doing good. Here he comes back. Big boost from the 1 coming soon. Now, still inside, 22. He let off of you. Your top is clear.
Cars are not handling real good right now.
Don't you love a spotter like that? Not excited, calm, cool. That means so much to the driver.
Truex on the outside trying to rebound from the difficulty on the pit stop, trying to make a third lane work here.
Still top of 3, top of 3. I would imagine that 20's probably going to try to jump up in front of you down there, but just inside only, 88.
That's Clayton Hughes.
Clayton Hughes, yeah.
When things are so intense in the car, you need that calming voice. If they're excited, you're going to get even more excited, and that's when you're going to make mistakes.
Boy, that 78 is trying to, he drove by the 20, tried to get to 48, but got cut off. Things have, intensity has picked up a little bit. You see 78 again, looking at it outside.
Yeah, but nobody's going to go with them.
Now remember, he's got 4 tires, and not that many of the leaders took 4.
3 wide, 38's 2 back. The 20 should jump up here with you.
Yeah.
Still 3 wide. Still 3. Still 3. Got help with you now. Got help with you. Help with you. Still top of 3. Top of 3.
Ooh, something happened to the 12. The yellow car of Blaney backing up there to the 20 of Jones. That shuffles the mix a bit.
Yeah, he's in that sucker hole. I think when you get in there, you got air from both sides. It really buffs the car around.
20.
Can be a little confusing at times.
There was a period of time where on these restrictor plate tracks, you wanted to be in the middle. That's the lane that would move. Why, with the way these cars are driving today, I don't think that's where you want to be.
I don't want somebody on both sides. I don't want somebody on the inside and the outside.
Kyle Busch has crept up to the 4th spot on the inside, battling William Byron's number 24. Busch going for his 4th win in a row. He is the point leader. He's won the last 3 races, but he said this week he had a better chance of winning Powerball than he had of winning the race. Now, mathematically, that's not even close to true. In fact, here are the probabilities. Las Vegas has, Stenhouse.
Whoa.
And trouble. Stenhouse down to the bottom. Not trouble, but pit stops. Almost trouble there.
You were right. There was trouble. They just happened to avoid it. Wow, that was so
Not sure Stenhouse was.
Jamie.
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr., they just called him in, said, come on in, stop. We'll top him off with fuel for the 17. That's all they did. Matt?
And similar situation for all the Fords trying to work together. Logano comes in, a little bit of fuel, clean off the grill. Harvick's team looking to make more chassis adjustment on his Ford. He's fueled up and away.
That is the key, is the exit from pit road. If you can keep that group together and get back up to speed quickly, you can draft back to the leaders.
I'm a little bit worried about that 17. Not only on entry, but on exit, he would look fast.
I think we got a few of them that were speeding.
Keselowski, Stenhouse, Suarez, 2 fast entering pit road.
Yeah, the 17 was pretty obvious.
Vince.
The 24 of William Byron, he's been pretty pleased with it so far. There's just fuel only on this stop, Jamie.
Reminding Denny Hamlin, do not speed. 1 second of fuel was it. Matt?
18 is in, topping off with fuel. He's away. Martin Truex Jr. just hit his pit box, and he's away as well. All the Toyotas there at the front, the 18 and 78, leaving together.
Well, they've got company. Jimmy Johnson, Jamie McMurray, and William Byron right with those Toyotas as they come off pit road. Here's Keselowski serving the penalty for speeding entering pit road.
Yeah, he is Ricky Stenhouse. Those are 2 really fast Fords that is going to have their work cut out for them.
Well, the good news is there's 3 of them. They'll be able to exit pit road together and get back up to drafting speed. Alex Bowman, 2 fast exiting. Here's another look at it.
Mike, this is just insane right here. I don't know what kept them wadding them all up.
Now, pit road speed will start at the yellow line.
I mean, Ricky, I think he's on the brakes hard. He got really far down there trying not to speed, but I don't know, something sort of brought him in a little bit hot into that first section.
Well, Brad Keselowski got nicked for speeding. He said he would be conservative entering the pits.
Tell Joey that I didn't get into pit road very well last time, so I'm going to be a little conservative. Don't run me over. Not a lot conservative, just a little.
Maybe
so that
not
was conservative.
Quite enough.
Tell Joey to remind me.
New leader, Matt DiBenedetto. In the Go Fast Racing, number 32. Pitted back at lap 43. And he's out front.
Check him out there, Mike. The people's racer, Matt DiBenedetto, has raced his way to the front of this track at Talladega. And I'll tell you this, guys, he has a knack for plate racing. He always pushes that car to the front, has himself a chance to get a great finish. Looking forward to the rest of this race and see how he can do.
Michael, I agree with you 100%. I believe this kid is destined for some really great things. I don't know what's going to happen in his career, but he gets so much more out of that car than that car has in it.
The other drivers who have not stopped, Brendan Gaughan on the tail end of the lead lap in the 62, and rookie Timothy Peters in his first Talladega Cup start. One lap down. Matt DiBenedetto, the leader, Joey Logano, Paul Menard, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Busch are the front five. Crash back straightaway. Eric Jones up into Jamie McMurray, who collects Trevor Bayne in the 6, and it's on.
Oh,
hard
Bayne, a
left
hard
side
hit. Martin Truex involved. Kyle Larson. And we're under caution.
You saw McMurray. You'll see him. He gets involved in this. It almost looked like his wreck from Friday. Starts off that way.
Right across into Truex. And then Bayne in the 6 to the inside barrier. And let's ride through this with Martin Truex trying to get his first restrictor plate win today.
There you go. One car's going to cause a damn break up here. Keep coming. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Now this group started to clog up between turns 1 and 2. Let's go back to the entrance of turn 1.
Yeah, the 9 of Chase Elliott put a big block on the 18, but the 18 had so much momentum. Now he's stuck in the middle. But keep an eye on that 20 car. Something sort of drags him up the racetrack. Maybe it's, he
got
put
on
the apron a little bit.
I think he got on the apron a little bit.
He tried his best to get out of the gas and keep it from getting into the 1 of Jamie McMurray, and then they made contact.
Let's ride with Kevin Harvick.
78 down to middle 3 now. Clear high. Can't get you easy now. Watch your head. Clear high. Easy, 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 easy.
Wow.
Easy.
Wow.
Threading the needle right there.
Oh my gosh. That made me draw up.
Took his breath, I guarantee
boy.
it.
Oh.
And David Reagan, a nice job keeping off of the back of Harvick as everybody checked up.
Yeah, I'd seen the 20 car wiggle earlier when he was trying to stay on the lead lap. That car was pretty loose in the back, even earlier.
Yeah, there were a bunch of those cars right in there, the 20, the 1, they were all a little edgy.
We'll ride with Kyle Larson.
Still inside. Stack up, check up, check up, check up. Come down, come down, come down, come down. We're in it, guys, here. We're in it. Lock it down.
We're going to ride once again with Martin Truex, but this time listen to Clayton Hughes, his spotter.
9 shit canned up there. You're clear low, clear low. Come on, come on, come on. There you go. 1 car's going to cause a damn break up here. Keep coming. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. God dang it. Keep holding it here. You ain't hitting it yet.
Yeah, Trevor Bayne, as he was spinning around, just clipped the right rear, getting Truex involved into that one.
Here's Martin Truex.
Got hooked in the right rear again. 1 car. Man, he just barely got me. I tried to get last. Hell dang it.
That is Jamie McMurray's car. I believe NASCAR is going to require him to have that tail panel on there, rear bumper.
It is mandatory here at Daytona, Mike, absolutely.
But where is it, Larry? Is it out there sitting on the back straightaway?
I would say that's probably where it is, or somewhere over the fence on the back straightaway.
It's in somebody's grill, probably.
His teammate Kyle Larson didn't fare a whole lot better.
That might be part of it right there.
Yep.
I love like Martin Truex Jr., though. He said, Talladega.
There it is.
That's it. Bring that back to the pit.
Yeah, that's his. And here he comes to get it. Well, not now, but. And Larry, would they allow him to replace that piece with a different panel?
I think that's one of the parts that they can. If it's a mandatory piece, I think it is that they can replace it, Mike.
Cowl flap repair on Truex's car.
I'm not sure that's his biggest problem. It's just part of the problem.
Eric Jones slews sideways into Jamie McMurray, then into Trevor Bayne, and then the wall. Bayne comes across and into Martin Truex. Kyle Larson gets collected. And we're under caution.
Absolutely amazing that the Ford Kevin Harvick, even when he threaded that needle, that car didn't come around to the left and get into the outside wall.
He didn't panic. Just drove through it.
Nice job by Harvick and David Reagan to scoot through there.
And that just shows you one decision. So the 42 Larson, as he went into turn one, he saw an opening in the outside lane. He went to that outside lane, and now he's in the red.
What the heck is that thing?
I've never seen this before.
I've seen that type of tool used to cut grooves in concrete. I've never seen it used on a race car. But necessity is the mother of invention.
And you know what? I love these teams. They practice all these things. So they found a piece of equipment to get the job done. Hello?
Your bumper? Here you go. There's that's
one ready to go.
One ready to go for Jamie Mack. Pit road will be open this time.
That's right. Cole Pern. He thinks of stuff like that, doesn't he?
Matt DiBenedetto, the race leader, comes to pit road. Here's Vince.
Well, you don't say that very often, do you, Mike? DiBenedetto, the race leader. In fact, it's his first laps led since here at Talladega last October. They're going to take a pretty big swing at it, though, because Matt says it is evil in the tri-oval. Chassis adjustment, air pressure in both rears, 4-tire change for DiBenedetto.
A few more takers. Chase Elliott is in. Bubba Wallace. William Byron. Trying to fix a little of that right rear damage, get that fender out of the wind. Eric Almirola looking inside the right front wheel well on Almirola's car. Ty Dillon, he's also got a little damage on the right rear. Trevor Bayne's car is on the hook and headed for the garage. Plaid threads the needle at Talladega.
Live on Fox here at Talladega, 112 laps to go. The new leader, Joey Logano, 9 different leaders today. His first lead of the day and hoping for his first win of the season. A time for a Monster Energy race break with Michael Waltrip. I'm Chris Myers. Nice to have you watching with us. We saw that 5-car crash moments ago. You thought it was avoidable.
Well, it's just so hard to say, Chris, because these cars are on the edge of control. Remember, they're loose. They can't just maneuver as quickly as they'd like. Jones hit the apron, bounced him up a little bit, and McMurray probably just couldn't turn his wheel quick enough to get away from him. There was plenty of room for him. They just unfortunately came together.
Yeah, you said a storm was brewing on the track. Before that, there's a bigger one brewing, I know. Eric Jones released, driver of the 20 car from the Care Center. Our Jamie Little is standing by with him.
And first accident we've seen today. And Eric, what exactly happened with you there? I know you're right in the middle of it all.
Yeah, I'd been fighting a loose car all day. The XYO Camry had been free, and I believe I got down on the apron here a little bit, and you know, after that, it took off on me. Got up into the one, and that was kind of it from there. So I feel pretty bad about you know, ruining everybody's day that was around me, and also for our day. So you know, these cars are just really challenging to drive right now, and I think that's why you're not seeing a ton of racing here early on. And unfortunately, just pushed the limit a little too much, and you know, got up in an accident here. It took us out.
And Chris, you heard it there. A lot of drivers saying how edgy their cars feel right now.
At the moment, only 2 cautions so far. Thank you, Jamie. The storyline again, can Kyle Busch win his 4th straight? Can Kevin Harvick win his 4th overall? We'll be watching these and others. That's your Monster Energy race break. Let's rejoin Jeff, Darrell, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. Taken out in that crash, Eric Jones, Trevor Bayne, who's been checked and released at the care center, and also Kyle Larson, who made it back to pit road for repairs, but the 6-minute clock ran out on the number 42. So those 3 are out of the race. Joining Reed Sorensen, who dropped out earlier. There's the Larson car.
Yeah, that car has a ton of damage on it. We saw him hit the outside and the inside wall.
We heard Michael talk about a storm was brewing. It seems to me like the cars are so ill handling on the older tires that these drivers felt newer tires and a little bit more grip and said, okay, this is our opportunity. Let's make some moves here while we've got the grip before it goes away. And that's what kind of created some of that chaos.
Getting ready for the restart, it'll be Joey Logano, the race leader for Team Penske. Paul Menard, both in Fords. Cole Witt got the free pass on this, the first caution for contact of the day. Through the tri-oval down toward the start-finish line. Green flag.
Mike, and I think it's pretty cool that Kurt Busch hung in there on that, you know, to stay on the lead lap, and now he's running 3rd with a really fast car. I don't know, it's a good handling car, but it's a fast car.
Same for Brad Keselowski and Daniel Suarez, who have overcome speeding penalties now. They're on the lead lap as we restart.
Darrell, I haven't seen anybody has a good handling car.
Some are worse than others. Exactly, I agree. Well, I think we went up and down the pit lane, and every driver, 2 drivers said, I'm a little worried about the handling of my car today, because nobody was very confident that the cars were going to drive well.
Boy, unfortunately, DiBenedetto gets shuffled. He's out in the outside lane, no man's land going backwards.
Yep, he's going to back up. Keselowski was leading a group in the high groove. Now his number 2 is dropped to the bottom, but still a long way back. Keselowski in 20th as his teammate Logano leads them across the line.
I think it'll be interesting also to keep an eye on that 4 car and see if the adjustments they made to that car get him tightened up where he can move forward a little bit, because he was in big trouble.
Well, let's go back to the care center and Jamie.
Well, it's already been an emotional week for Trevor Bayne. Now he ends up here at the medical center out early. What happened from your vantage point, Trevor?
I'm going to have to watch TV to see what happened. When we're looking out the front windshield here at Talladega, you can't see much to your left. And, you know, for us, we had finally gotten track position back after early on kind of losing some. We got our track position back, and I was up top, at the very top, and next thing I know, I got turned and went down and hit the inside wall, and our day was over. So you got to keep your lows from getting too low and your highs from getting too high in the sport. And for us, came out here to give it our best shot today, and it didn't work out. So that's disheartening, and we're going to keep fighting. And appreciate everything everybody does, Advocare, and everybody that's been fighting to keep us going here.
Smile on his face and great attitude as always, Mike.
All right, former Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bayne out of it in this lap 73 crash. Paul Menard is not looking like such a dark horse anymore, is he? The 21.
Well, that 21 car is I never have considered that car a dark horse. And Paul and his team are doing a really nice job, have for all year long.
And even looking at some of his stats on restrictor plate tracks, he's very consistent, so don't count him out at all.
Nope.
Has 1 win in Cup racing. It came at Indianapolis at the Brickyard.
I know the guy that finished 2nd that day.
Yeah, I know him too.
Here's Vince.
Keep an eye on that 24 of William Byron, currently running inside the top 10. He's got some pretty significant front end damage on that nose. They'd like to address it, but they want to make sure most of all that he doesn't give anybody else a bump with that nose, because they don't want it to open up. Right now it's just a crack, but they want to make sure that he doesn't have any front end contact that'll open it up, that'll really affect the handling of that car.
Boy, did you see the 18 car right there, Mike? Jeff, that thing just out, the back end swings out. I mean, just almost like it's unexpected.
And that's that transition area from the straightaway into the corner. I think if you put a little bit too much wheel in it too early or too quick, that back end will step out.
Snappy loose.
Kevin Harvick around the outside and back up into the top 10. Here's another quick word from the Busch guy.
You can never have enough flannel. Look good, Doug.
Dougie Doug, my best friend Doug.
Well, boy, I don't know how his car's feeling right now, but it's certainly showing plenty of speed, and he seems to be willing to jump out there and try to get back to the front, Matt.
Flannel is a lot better. Harvick said on that last stop, they adjusted the car into the ball game. He needed a little bit more stability. They tried working on that as well, but they feel like they're back in this game.
Kyle Busch jumps to the outside in front of Harvick.
That's
Winner
such a
of the last
classic great move. That's what we saw Denny Hamlin do to win the Daytona 500 a few years ago. When you see an outside lane coming forward with a fast race car in front of it, you want to get up in front of it. Jimmy Johnson did that to Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch did that with Kevin Harvick.
Boy, that 2 car, though, with Keselowski back there, he's picking his way right back to the front. That is a fast little race car.
And he looks like he can run in any lane he wants. 83 laps complete at Talladega. Sawzall, saw anything you want right here. 87 laps complete, 23 to go in stage 2. Joey Logano's been out front since the lap 73 incident. And caught up in that crash was Kyle Larson. Here's Jamie.
A lot of damage to the 42. Their time expired and trying to fix it, so he is finished. Kyle, how would you sum up the racing with this new package to that point of the race?
Well, I think everybody's cars are really on edge, so I think that's why so far we've seen a lot of single file racing. It's just because it's tough for, I think, anybody to be aggressive just because they're out of control in a single file line. So, or at least I am, and it looks like other people are. But yeah, I don't know. I was ready, to get to go do some racing. It was that whole first stage was a little uneventful, just single file. I think we had a group of like 6 cars, so I was ready to hopefully get to racing aggressively in the second stage. But I'm not really sure what happened in the wreck. I saw Jamie get loose, and then I saw the 20 get in the wall, and then I had nowhere to go and got into Jamie. So hate that we tore up a incredible bank Chevy. Like I said, was just kind of ready to go racing and didn't really get to today.
Thanks, Kyle.
Well, that's the first race this season that Larson has failed to be running at the finish.
Mike, I think what he was saying was after you run a few laps, you kind of know what your car is capable of doing, where it's loose, where it's doing whatever. You can kind of adjust to that as a driver and go racing because you know what to expect.
Hey guys, that outside lane is starting to make a little bit of movement. Jimmy Johnson's doing a nice job towing that line. See Kyle Busch right there second behind him. The one problem that I'm seeing is the 31 and Newman, the 2 cars really handling well and fast of Keselowski. Every time he gets to the rear bump to the 31 has to go up the racetrack a little bit. That hurts that momentum just a slight bit on that outside lane. How aggressive Keselowski is being right on the rear bumper of that 31 car.
Well, he is. He's there. I think he's
4th car back on the outside. And Casey Kane had a bit of contact here. Watch the 95 in the middle of the racetrack.
3 wide.
Trying to squeeze between Bubba Wallace and Greg Gaulding in the 23.
That looked like the 20.
Closed.
It kind of looked like the 20 car coming off the corner there when he got into McMurray. There's just a place over there where the cars look like they get real loose.
That was one of those spotters talking in your ear saying, got one coming up the middle, and you go to close that gap.
Well, Kane is trying to become the first car 1 lap down and get in the free pass position. To do that, he's going to have to pass the 14 of Clint Boyer.
Now, see, Denny Hamlin is noticing that outside lane, making some moves. He's up there and possibly going to try to get in front of Jimmy Johnson if that lane continues to move forward.
Look at that 7th place car, the white car on the inside. That is David Reagan from Georgia. Good restrictor plate racer. And he is right up there in the mix in the top 10. Another of those dark horse contenders.
Yep, he won this race a few years ago. He and his teammate run 1st and 2nd. Vince, what do they say?
Yeah, and was top 10 in both the races here last year. This is certainly a place they have circled on their calendar, a smaller team, and they all know that this is their opportunity to win a race, just as he did, DW, as you mentioned, back in 2013. And I loved the preparation of Seth Barber, the crew chief, and the philosophy of Reagan. He said, sometimes it's not the moves you make, it's the moves you don't make. And sometimes you have to be as intelligent to know which moves not to make that saves your day.
Good point. His teammate Michael McDowell is just 2 cars behind him.
Kind of like Kenny Rogers said, got to know when to fold them, know when to hold them.
And here's what Bubba Wallace had to say on that same topic.
Yeah, all good. Speed away from it, or are you just being safe? Being safe, my friend. I'm glad to hear that.
Playing it safe for now.
I can tell you who's not playing it safe. A little further forward, that 48 still working that outside lane, and on the inside of him is the 12 of Ryan Blaney. There's some side drafting going on. I can see what's happening. That inside lane, those cars are starting to become ill handling. They're having a hard time with those cars being on the outside. Now they get the advantage on the straightaway, so that outside lane, like Jimmy Johnson, comes down and side drafts to try to stall that inside lane out a little bit.
3 Fords out front: Logano, Menard, and Kurt Busch.
Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Racing Geico 500 is sponsored by Monster Energy, official sponsor of NASCAR.
What'd you say?
That's it.
Yeah, it has been intense.
It has
New leader.
intensified.
Denny Hamlin, Paul Menard with him. Menard had to make a quick down and up move.
The two of Keselowski almost came around on him.
What in the world happened? I mean, that was incredible. Man, the car just jumped out from under him.
Guys, we have about 14 laps to go to the end of this stage, and right now the 3 Team Penske drivers, Logano the 22, Keselowski the 2, and Blaney in the 12, as well as the Wood brothers 21 with Paul Menard, they have not changed left side tires yet. If this goes to the end of stage 2, they'll have 110 laps on their lefts. That may be starting to take a toll on the handling of those cars.
Oh, Larry, that's exactly what happened to that 2 car. He jumped plumb sideways getting into 3 over there.
Clint Boyer in the 14 fighting for the free pass position with Casey Kane in the 95. On the right, while we were away, here's Menard making that move down to the bottom as Denny Hamlin went to the outside. He just went around and slipped up in front of Kurt Busch. And then the lead change as Denny Hamlin got a run to the outside.
He just continues to use that momentum from that outside lane. He got a good run on the 22. Logano just couldn't block it.
Hamlin, that elevator move top to bottom. And he's the new leader.
That easily could have been a wreck.
And I tell you, I've been watching that 11 car quite a bit. It looks like it handles really nice, even in traffic. Looked like his car was not moving around like a lot of the others are.
This is the 9th straight race at Talladega that Denny Hamlin has led. We're past halfway with 12 laps to go in stage 2.
Yeah, I really anticipated seeing more of this in stage 1, but I think because this was an impound race, I think those cars just weren't handling very good the first stage, and I think they got to adjust on it. They got some fresher tires, even though some of them don't have fresh lefts, and I think that these guys are starting to get a feel for how these cars are handling and use a little bit more aggression.
Yeah, there are 2 Toyotas in the top, I think 15, Hamlin and Kyle Busch, and one of them's leading the race. Whoa, I saw something fly up right there on our camera. Probably wasn't anything to worry about.
Hamlin up to cover as Menard has a big run with Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney.
You know, I give Denny Hamlin and his spotter Chris Lambert a lot of credit. They are so good at watching when those runs are coming and protecting that lane that has the most momentum and run coming. He's so good at going lane to lane to allow himself to either make a pass or maintain the lead.
And Jeff, see what the 11 says. He's breathless, can't speak.
Still single file with that 21, 1.5 back there tight behind him. He is uncovered now. Huge run coming to you. Quarter in line, uncovered. Uncovered, pushing 22's uncovered with him. First 2 are single file in line. 1 back of you, then half.
1 back of you.
22 single file up top. 1 back.
1 back is 1 car length back. That's where the 21 is. Then a half car length back to the 22 of Logano.
And the best drivers that know how to draft are the ones that are thinking 3, 4, 5 back.
10 to go in stage 2 as we take you side by side on Fox. Denny Hamlin trying to hold the lead. Here comes Paul Menard on the outside after a bobble at turn 3. He's going after the lead at turn 2.
Oh, yeah, Menard, I mean, almost spun out down in the 3 and 4 down here, almost like Keselowski did, but he hung on to it, and now he's fighting for the lead.
6 to go in stage 2.
Boy, what a battle here.
Man, I'm telling you, that 21 car, the 41 car, 22, those are fast cars.
You can see Paul Menard getting pretty aggressive, getting down to the right side of that 11 car, Denny Hamlin, trying to loosen him up maybe a little bit.
Now they're double file. They'll catch a group of lap traffic before this stage ends, but those are 3 cars that will probably stay up at the top of the racetrack and out of their way. Jamie.
And Denny Hamlin in the 11. The car's still not to his liking. In fact, on lap 75 during that caution, he wanted to pit, but they thought more of it because they want to stay out. I talked to his crew chief this morning, Mike Wheeler, and he told me they want to get stage points. They want to win a stage because at this race at Talladega, it's so unpredictable. If we crash out the second half, at least we have something to show for our efforts.
Good point, Jamie. Well, look at that outside line. That 6 Fords lined up together behind Paul Menard, trying to make something happen here in the last 5 laps of stage 2.
Yeah, Menard's the spotter, Stevie Reeves, the former driver, doing a nice job of telling Paul where to go, what to do. Working pretty good right now.
Ricky Stenhouse in that light blue 17. Pokes his nose out just a little.
And if you think about where Stenhouse is in points, these stage points, they mean something to him. That could possibly work to his benefit later in the season, get him in that top 16. So he wants to get every point he possibly can. Look for him to be a little bit more aggressive towards the end of this stage. And then those that are leading, they want the playoff point, not just the stage point.
Wow, Menard pulls ahead. He has cleared the 11 and has Logano with him. Then Ryan Blaney in 3rd on the outside. Then Harvick in the 4. And Stenhouse.
Oh, baby.
Logano side drafting off of Hamlin. Pulls away.
I'm not sure if these drivers are driving the car. The car's driving them right now.
They're just hanging on to them. They go all the way to the top. I think that's why that outside line comes in a little bit, particularly late in these runs, because you just don't have to fight the car quite so much when you're on the outside like you do when you're down on the bottom.
I think Brad Keselowski, he's lost this draft. He's a little bit further back, and I really believe he saw the action getting too intense, and he wasn't going to be benefiting, or he has an issue, Matt.
And Jeff, the issue that he had, he wanted to pit before the stage ended, but Paul Wolf told him, we will need 4 tires because we've been doing the right sides and fuel only stop, so we'll need 4, lose way too much time, so they're going to run it to the end here.
Well, the lap cars kind of messed things up. 2 of them stayed high, 1 of them went low, and that scattered the leaders. Now it's a 4-car breakaway for Menard, Logano, Blaney, and Harvick.
Tell you, Greg Irwin has got that 21 car. They are good today, Mike. That car really looks fast. Good at Daytona too. I mean, Paul's just doing a nice job with his team.
Paul looking for his first career stage win. A lap and a half away.
Get in line, all single file here. Coming to 1 to go. Mostly lined up on the bottom here. Mostly lined up on the bottom. Third in line, backed up to the 17.
Remember, Logano was 2nd in stage 1 behind his teammate Keselowski. Did not make a move. Will he make a move on Paul Menard?
I think that's a tough spot for him to be in, Jeff, because he really would like to make a move. I think he can, but he might really jeopardize the 21 car in doing it.
Maybe he and Ryan Blaney can work together here, get a little bit of a run going and make that move.
And effectively, that's 3 Penske cars out front. The Wood Brothers 21 is a satellite operation of Team Penske.
One thing for sure, Denny Hamlin, he never stays in line. He's ready to, always trying to make moves happen.
Denny is trying to stay out of harm's way.
All right, this will be it for stage 2. The start-finish line all the way down here toward turn 1 as they come into the tri-oval. Menard leading Logano single file, and the front 5 stay that way. 5 Fords, 6 Fords out front for stage 2, led by Paul Menard, and a nice job by Casey Kane in the 95 to get the free pass. Wisconsin's Paul Menard for the storied Wood Brothers wins stage 2. Aerial coverage of Talladega provided by Goodyear. Everything they learned making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. Look at that infield, sold out for 2 months. Every infield camping space and along the Talladega Boulevard there. Grandstand full as well. Paul Menard gets congratulations from Joey Logano for his first ever stage win.
That's got to feel pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Either that or he's saying, yeah, your tires are good, fenders are good. I think it was a pretty good battle between those two for Paul Menard to get that stage win.
What do you think of 6 Fords lining up in one lane to earn the first 6 positions in this stage?
I just think it's very impressive that the teams, the drivers, everybody's willing to work together like that to get the best result.
I think what you want to do, right, is work together, get yourself in a position to win the stage or win the race.
At the end of stage 2, let's have a look at how the Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring. Joey Logano up in second, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Newman, Bubba Wallace, Daniel Suarez all on the lead lap. So is Austin Dillon. Kyle Larson went out in that wreck at lap 73, the only caution we've had for contact today. Here's Kevin Harvick's take on this race so far.
Save that the 2 made was pretty big. Yeah, but there's been a few of them. A few people out of control. Oh, they're pretty much all out of control. It's just some less than the others. Looks like you better not correct it either once it starts sliding, you know. You got to ride it out. It's a weird slide, too, with the way that the cars are angled.
All right, pit road will be open this time for the stage-ending pit stops. Paul Menard will lead them down. Here's Vince.
Well, the 12 of Ryan Blaney coming in from the 3rd position and certainly worked well with his teammates up ahead of him, Menard and Logano. For Blaney, he says he really likes the car. No changes needed, so they're going to put 4 tires on it, and that's it. Jamie?
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 17, last year's winner here, saying he's bouncing off the splitter a little bit and a little too hot in the draft, but it's raceable now. He likes his car, Matt.
Paul Menard's car stepped out 2 or 3 times, but he was able to keep the momentum. He wanted to keep the air pressure change they made on the last stop a little free near the end of that run. Meanwhile, his corporate teammate, Joey Logano, was a little bit tight on the splitter at times in traffic, but balanced okay. You saw the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. He said the car is still a little loose in and up, but way better. The 4's back into it as well. The Fords all sticking together.
Here's your race off pit road, fueled by Sunoco. Now Chase Elliott shot straight through. I don't believe he stopped. Couldn't get into his pit and came through. And Kyle Busch going for 4 in a row. His odds didn't get any better. Speeding in section 7. Kyle Busch too fast entering.
Let's say we dial up that stage 2 winner. Hey Paul, this is Jeff up in the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
I got you, man.
Well, man, congratulations. That's your first stage win, and it was quite a battle between you and the 22 of Logano. Looked like you have your hands full at times, though, with the handling, but you got a fast race car, and your chemistry is just fantastic with this team. How's it going?
Yeah, fast car. Motorcraft, quick lane 4 is really fast, obviously. Couple moments out there, but you know, we were a little bit tight to start the race. Now we're a little bit free. Find somewhere in between will be perfect. So really proud of my guys. It's our first stage win, so try to keep it up front the rest of the race. It's the safest place to be here.
All right, man. We look forward to it. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Jeff.
Brendan Gaughan, A.J. Allmendinger did not stop. They are the race leaders, but Paul Menard and the Wood Brothers have won stage 2. .73 laps to go in Talladega. Saturday, a baseball doubleheader on FS1. Starting at 4 Eastern, Tigers Royals. Then at 7 Eastern, Dodgers Pirates. Catch it all Saturday on FS1. or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. William Byron took on only 2 tires. He's the race leader. He got 4 tires on his last stop. He and Ryan Blaney will share the front row for this restart. Chase Elliott did just miss his pit. He then came back around, came in, and he'll restart 24th. Casey Kane back on the lead lap with the free pass. Now, in the pre-race show, a fan handed you a sneaker to sign. So, come on, let everybody in on the gag. Who is Rodney Sandstorm?
Yeah, that's actually Jordan Taylor. He's my teammate when I won the 24 Hours of Daytona. And he's quite a ride if you watch him on social media, and obviously he's got quite a sense of humor.
Now, I wish they'd have told me about it too, because I thought it was some gaper, and I said, man, get him out of here.
No, right. I tell you, he is a heck of a driver.
Oh,
and
I know.
Jordan Taylor is a star of social media, and his alter ego is this Rodney Sandstorm character wearing a Jeff Gordon jacket. It's pretty funny. Was he on the Boulevard Friday night?
I saw
Probably.
pictures.
I bet he was out there having some fun.
I've seen photos. Yep, Rodney Sandstorm.
He told me he paid good money on eBay for that jacket, by the way, too.
Yeah.
He's looking for security.
No, I thought we needed security. I said, man, leave the man alone. We're working.
All right, here we come to the Geico restart zone. And we're back under green.
got a nice little jump right there.
And you can see the gaps between the 4 and the 48 and then back to the 31. That inside lane is definitely going to be the lane that you're going to want to be in.
I'm not sure that Byron's going to have anything for all those Fords lined up on the bottom right there. We'll see.
6 of them stacked together on the inside behind William Byron's Chevrolet.
Boy, those Ford guys, Mike, they have just come in here today with a game plan, and they are sticking to it.
The Fords were fast in Daytona at the season opener and came within half a lap of victory with Eric Almirola, who got turned around in the backstretch on the last lap by Austin Dillon, who went on to win the 500.
Now we can see that outside lane's maybe even a little bit more organized than the inside lane. We'll see if Kevin Harvick can't tow that outside lane back up to the front like Jimmy Johnson did on that last run.
Yeah, I think they've done a really nice job with that Ford car of getting it where Kevin can drive it, because early in this race he was in trouble. Looks pretty good now.
About a 2-mile-per-hour advantage on that outside lane.
And you can see
down to 1, down to even.
And then, yeah, he lost his drafting help. Jimmy Johnson's going to go the inside lane. That's stalled out Kevin Harvick's momentum.
He may get some help from Hamlin in the 11 and Wallace in the 43 here.
That's some pretty good help. About 11 will get up there and give him a shove.
Ryan Newman way up top in the Cat 31.
Yeah, I think Ryan's just had his hands full of that car all day long and just trying to hang on to it up on that high side.
The two of Brad Keselowski, he's able to get to people's rear bumper and stay there, and that's what creates a lot of momentum. Also is what makes your car really loose if you're driving in front of them.
But I love the way Brad is so much precise with that car. He doesn't hit the car in front of him, but he gets right up to it. I think he must be dragging the brake and not really getting out of the throttle, because he's an expert at doing that.
Fourth place, Ricky Stenhouse. The blue car in that inside lane.
And Mike, it looks very comfortable, not fighting with the wheel. Every now and then a little twitch on the wheel, but that's just going through the bumps in the track.
Now he saw some momentum coming. He moved up in front of him, but look what happened. Denny Hamlin took advantage of that, went right up the middle.
Yeah, Hamlin went all the way to the top and then came down to pick up Hamlin. Now they are 4th and 5th.
And that costs Harvick big. And Bubba Wallace.
But Mike, that's just so much confidence in that spotter. When that spotter says move up now, you can't wait. You got to go when he tells you to. Can't hesitate.
And we've seen that's really been the only way to make passes. The only way to move forward is when that line gets really organized on the outside and has a big run, then you need to move up in front of it.
There's Keselowski in the 2 down to the inside, lined up with the rest of those Fords. Remember, William Byron in a Chevrolet is still the leader.
It's just pretty hard to pull out and pass a guy when he's leading like that unless he makes a mistake.
Vince?
Well, and you guys talking about the spotter. How about Tab Boyd, the spotter for that young leader up front, William Byron? We mentioned earlier it's his first Cup race here. Yeah, he's run a truck race here at Talladega. He's run Xfinity. But this Cup car is a whole different animal, especially with this package, and what an advantage it is for Byron to have a veteran like Tab Boyd in his ear, helping him not only with the car behind him, but what that line on the outside is doing.
I've been so impressed with this young man. And remember, they've had to overcome some issues today. Had a little nose damage earlier in an incident.
It's only 9 starts for that kid leading the race. It's pretty impressive.
Remember, Byron just took 2 tires on that last pit stop. We'll see how that plays out as we get deeper into this run. 67 to go. Kurt Busch side drafted off Joey Logano. That really got Joey's attention. And then he went straight to the front and took the lead, overcoming a speeding penalty on pit road at the start of the race. Kurt Busch out front of William Byron, Ricky Stenhouse, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin. Time for our Credit One Bank ones to watch. Jeff.
Yeah, you know, I think at Talladega it takes a fast race car, and it certainly takes somebody that knows how to work the draft, knows where that run's coming from. And to me, nobody does that better here than Denny Hamlin. I think he's going to get the win today.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm going to give a shout out to that 34 car, Michael McDowell. They qualified 20th. This is his 259th career start in the Cup Series. Only one top 5. It was at another restrictor plate race. Could he possibly give Front Row their second win in the Cup Series?
Hey, Larry, the 22 car, Joey Logano, he ran second in both stages so far. I hope it doesn't mean he's going to run second today, but I think he's going to win.
I like this winner. Eric Almirola got it done in Daytona in July a couple years ago. Half a lap from taking the biggest race of the year, the Daytona 500. He's been in the pack all day long. I think he breaks free at the end and wins here in Talladega.
The Wood brothers have 5 victories at Talladega. Let's make it a 6-pack. If Paul Menard gets back to the front, watch out.
Boy, I tell you what, Mike, while you were doing that, that 12 car was all over the back of William Byron. I mean, I thought he was going to turn him, but they hung on to him.
Oh, Denny Hamlin gets stuck in the middle. Clint Boyer made a nice move to the outside, but luckily he's going to pick up the 12. It's not going to hurt him as much as I thought it might.
Yeah, clowns that left me. The Joker's to my right. I'm stuck in the middle.
Here's a look at it on the right.
Wow, that was so close.
That was
beating
crazy.
the rear bumper of that 24 cars. He tried to block that run coming from Blaney.
But now Boyer lost the battle for the free pass to Casey Kane at the last caution. So he's trying to get himself back on the lead lap.
And that's why he's being more aggressive than anybody to do it.
You know, one thing we saw this race start out pretty calm, cool, not anybody doing anything crazy. But as we've gone on, pit stops, tire changes, adjustments on the cars, drivers get comfortable in their race cars. That's when we ramp up the act. That's when things start to ramp up as we get closer and closer to the end of this race.
So how about Kurt Busch? Starts the day off with a radio that won't work, and you can't race here without a radio. You need that spotter and pit communication more here than at any other racetrack. And he speeds down pit road on the very first stop, but just calmly, methodically, he and Billy Scott and spotter Tony Raines have worked themselves back up into a position to win, Vince.
Well, Mike, and the one thing that they had confidence in was the speed of their race car. They were concerned, as all the teams were, about how it was going to handle in the draft, but they said, we're going to take our chances with that because we know we've got speed, and that's what you need to be out front and to win this race at the end. Need a little good fortune, but they'll take their chances as long as they've got the speed, and they've got it. By the way, Kurt 0 for 34 at Talladega. You don't think he wants one of those trophies?
And Vince, that's what I used to tell Hammond or anybody who worked on the car. They always would say, what can we do to help you? Give me a fast car. Just give me a fast car. I'll figure out what to do with it.
All right, caution for debris on the front straightaway. Right near the start-finish line. And that'll put us under yellow for the 4th time today. While we go to caution, here's an exclusive look at Solo, a Star Wars story, in theaters May 25th. We're under caution. Pit road is open. Here they come, Vince.
Busch, top left hand of your screen. He pits from the lead, right sides only. He likes the handling of his car, Jamie.
17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 3.2 seconds. It was fuel only, Matt.
And Kevin Harvick said, you can see that we are going to need tires. That's going to be the winning move of the day. We've got to keep tires on it. After 7 or 8 laps, they seem to go away right sides on Harvick. They're going to come around and do the left sides as well. Keep fresh Goodyears on that car. Maybe that's the winning move of the day, but a lot of cars took 2.
Ricky Stenhouse out well in front of the pack with no tires. And as Matt said, a lot of 2 tire changes on this caution flag at lap 129. 58 to go now. 57 laps to go. And an issue in the pits for Paul Menard. Keep an eye on the right rear tire change on this replay, Larry.
All right, they're going to do just right side tires. And what you're going to see, we're going to focus right there on the right rear tire changer. Once they pull that right rear tire off, you're going to see it right there. See it? All right. Now, he doesn't. All right, they're retracting the penalty right now. They are talking to NASCAR because the rule states crew members must remove tires and wheels from the outside half of their assigned pit box in a controlled manner before the vehicle exits the pit box. So they have retracted that penalty.
I am so glad about that.
All right, Menard back on track. 56 laps to go at Talladega. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., your leader.
So Dave here is taking the family up to the lake for the weekend, but without the white knuckles this time. Because his new 2018 Ford F-150 has Bliss with trailer coverage. It's Brainiac smart. Not only does it watch your F-150's blind spots, it's got your trailer covered too. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck for 41 straight years. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
Finishing up this caution period, and Larry was explaining the issue with Paul Menard. And Larry, what was NASCAR's final ruling on that?
Yeah, I just had contact with NASCAR Control Tower, and they just felt like it was not far enough out in that outer part of the box, so they retracted that penalty.
Okay, good news for Paul Menard. We're also saying they're having radio issues on the 21, hearing about every second or third word from Paul from the race car. Jamie?
Well, I just climbed up on the pit box to talk to Brian Patty right there. He's still thinking about the decision not to take tires. Told me he's not confident in the call, but he's hopeful that that clean air sitting there up front will make up for old tires.
Well, Brian Patty is a gambler, as we learned last Saturday night at Richmond. He called Stenhouse in early during a long green flag run because he was in danger of getting lapped. Ricky got new tires and ended that stage several positions ahead of where he would have been had he not stopped. So he can be Brian Patty can be a contrary.
Yeah, I think Ricky Stenhouse told us, that Brian, there may be a lot of things that Brian can't do or doesn't want to do, but when it comes to calling a race, the strategy in the race, he thinks he's one of the best.
Well, great poker player, never shows his tail. I don't know. He looked like he was sweating a little bit right there on that call.
Stenhouse in a Ford, Hamlin in a Toyota. We're back under green. Chase Elliott restarts out back for a tire violation on their stop.
I haven't talked much about Daniel Suarez in that 19 car, that orange car there behind Ricky Stenhouse. He's been in the hunt all day long, one of the fast Toyotas up there.
And that's a backup car. He was involved in that Friday practice crash.
Now he's giving a big push to his teammate Denny Hamlin, who jumped right up there in front of him. That's why I say Denny Hamlin is so good at recognizing where that move's coming from and being aggressive to move up into that lane.
And how about Casey Kane in the 95? 2 cautions ago, he was getting the free pass. That last green flag run, he's been right up in the mix for Levine Family Racing. Great run for a small team.
I don't think we would call Casey an underdog, but we got to think that team, a young team like that, I'd have to say that team's an underdog.
And they've had a rough start to the season. They really need a good run. Hopefully that comes for that team today.
54 laps to go. Ricky Stenhouse, last year's winner, out in front.
Whoa,
comes
now.
up to block Hamlin, down to block Hamlin.
Yeah, Hamlin was a little bit late on making that move. Thought twice about it, which was a great decision.
Yeah, he saw 19 Suarez coming with a head of steam. He tried to get up in front of him, didn't work. I think the fact that you see that that's not going to work.
Three wide for the lead.
Well, you couldn't block all 3 lanes at once, could you?
Yeah, I didn't like the outside, but I love the inside. Oh, boy.
Now here comes Logano 3 wide.
Yep, down to the middle.
Oh, boy.
And his teammate Keselowski going to go with him.
And then Stenhouse trying to get back into the picture here. Ricky Stenhouse in that 17 credited Jimmy Fennig, longtime and championship-winning crew chief, for preparing these restrictor plate cars for Roush Fenway Racing and making that 17 as fast as it is here.
Yeah, without taking tires, though, they wanted that clean air out front and to maintain that, be aggressive to do it. Now he's right in the middle, 3 wide. I think he's going to have his hands full with not having fresh tires.
He was Bobby Allison's crew chief, had great success. Matt Kenseth's crew chief, great success. Guy's really, really sharp. Mike, I think those 4 tires that some of the teams took and that 17 didn't, that maneuverability, that ability to go high, go low, make those blocks, you lose some of that on older tires.
Oh, the Penske cars in the high groove there. Logano in the 22 and Keselowski in the 2 lined up trying to make a run at Hamlin. How about a Talladega Fox NASCAR? Crank it up. 200 miles an hour, 3 lanes wide. It's the world's fastest freeway. 47 laps to go in Talladega, and Brad Keselowski out front, 3 Fords up front, Keselowski, Logano, and Blaney. Then the Toyotas, the 11 and 19, Hamlin and Suarez, and then the Chevy of Casey Kane. Larry, what are we looking at?
Yeah, Mike, we have 47 laps to go, and everyone pitted under that last caution for at least fuel. So if you wanted to run the fuel run out, we could go to about 10 to 15 to go in the race. But right now, in the next couple of 3 laps, as we saw in stage 1 and stage 2, the window is open to pit and make it to the end. Don't be surprised to see that coming up.
The 2 lead Fords go side by side. Keselowski and Logano battle for the lead, and here comes Suarez on the outside with Joey, and Hamlin in the middle.
That Suarez is hanging in there, and he's got a fast car. Woo! This is breathtaking.
46 to go. You won't miss a minute. We're going to go side by side with Fox NASCAR coverage. Welcome back to the Geico 500. Half the fields come to pit road, Vince.
And it's fuel only for Ryan Blaney, pitted from the 3rd spot. Jamie?
Denny Hamlin, they didn't have really a plan coming in. Just pit with the fast cars. That's what they did, Matt.
And Mills tops him off with fuel, doing the opposite. Every rotating, fuel, tires, fuel, tires, fuel.
We are still under green. And only 7 of the lead lap cars did not pit, led by Daniel Suarez. Well, Denny Hamlin had a full head of steam coming to pit road. He is too fast entering. Ricky Stenhouse is too fast exiting on that stop.
Unbelievable how many speeding penalties Denny Hamlin has gotten.
That's unbelievable.
Here are the rest of the lead lap cars coming in. At lap 146, Alex Bowman, fuel only. In and out.
Oh, the 19 overshot it, Matt.
You called it, Jeff. Went over the line, losing a few seconds there. His teammate, the 18 of Kyle Busch, also pitted. Everyone fuel only at this junction.
Well, that'll shake things up. Casey Kane is the new race leader. Kyle Busch now second. Alex Bowman, Daniel Suarez, A.J. Allmendinger coming out of the pits. And the 19 of Suarez was also too fast entering when they all came flying onto pit road.
I could have sworn
and Hamlin just did it again.
Yeah, it looked to me like he was coming in with way too much speed. That's where frustration can get the best of you.
He lost his cool.
Well, earlier, Jeff asked Denny Hamlin about that very topic, all of his speeding penalties.
Are we going to see the 11 have any speeding penalties this week?
Knock on wood, this has not been one of the tracks where I've typically gotten speeding penalties, but who knows nowadays? It's like I've not been too particular on where I'm getting penalties.
Well, Denny Hamlin just racked up his 3rd and 4th speeding tickets of the season.
Yeah, and I actually sat down with him before, I think it was Bristol. So, you know, I would love to have talked to him about Talladega too, and he told me he likes to push the limit. They like to not give up anything on pit road or anywhere on the track. But I can't believe that they're still pushing it this far.
There's just a limit to everything, and I think he may have exceeded his limit.
But there's 3 drivers who all violated Darrell's Rule 1. Don't beat yourself. 41 laps to go. Joey Logano back to the front over his teammate Brad Keselowski, Eric Almirola, and Paul Menard. 37 laps to go. Joey Logano leading 4 more Fords right in line. And the Blue Oval has won the last 5 races at Talladega in the Monster Energy Series.
But Mike, don't think back to the beginning of the year. Say, oh, well, Ford's in big trouble this year. They don't have a new body.
They had the oldest body style.
The oldest body style in the field.
Boy, they were fast in Daytona, and they are fast here.
They have refined that body.
Well,
next year,
really good. Oh, the 21 of Menard. I don't know if he just got loose because the 12 was pushed him, or if he has a problem.
Both. I think it might be both.
Ill handling problem.
I'm telling you, when your back wheels are off the ground, that's what happens.
But these Fords have been so strong on these restrictor plate tracks for a while now, and I do think that they've only been able to improve that. And that's why they're showing so much strength.
Hey, look who the 22 just jumped up in front of right there. Eric Almirola. We haven't mentioned him much all day, and there he is running second.
Let's check with Matt on the leader.
Competition's not the concern right now, Mike. In fact, Joey Logano 2 laps ago said, I've got a small vibration. It has since only gotten worse. He said it's vibrating up through the steering wheel and just getting worse and worse.
Ooh.
Now, is that a product of locking up those tires? They just did fuel only, right, when he came down under green? And we've seen where some guys have locked up tires and flat spotted those tires that creates that vibration.
Here comes his teammate Keselowski pulling the inside line along. 35 laps to go. Here's a quick word from Duracell.
This is the #1 trusted brand.
Well, during our Duracell Drive and Trust, we're going to take a look at the 17 team with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and his crew chief, Brian Patty. This is their second season together. Last year, 2017, 2 wins, including here at Talladega. Ricky made the playoffs for the first time in his career. In 2012, Brian was at Michael Waltrip Racing with Clint Boyer. They won 3 races and finished second in the points. Brian is one of a few crew chiefs that he has wins in all 3 of NASCAR's top series. And the caution is out, Mike. That's our Duracell Driving Trust.
Well, thanks, Larry. Boy, something big let go.
Yeah, up in turn 3 and 4 up there. Turn 4 looks like something on the 51 car.
Timmy Hill was 2 laps down. And a lot of smoke from the right front of his car as he brings that Chevy to the garage. So caution out with 34 laps to go.
And Mike, we hadn't talked much about it, and I really didn't think it was much of an issue. Some of the engine builders had a little bit of concern about the plate change and how it may affect the engines today. We haven't seen any problems, but that was somewhat of a concern for some of the engine builders.
So Larry, what do you do?
Well, I'm looking right now at Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who we were just talking about. No brainer. Last driver on the lead lap. He did not get tires that last caution, so he comes and get it. But I just believe most of these guys up at the front, they know they can make it on fuel. I think you're going to see the majority of the front part of the field stay out, Mike.
But Larry, what about that 22 with the vibration? You think that the safe route is for them to go ahead and come and get tires?
I just Todd Gordon just gave you the answer right there.
I don't know.
I just don't know if they want. You know, we got 27 drivers on the lead lap, now 28 with the free pass. I just don't know if you want to put your guy back there in harm's way when we've got probably less than 30 laps to go before racing.
DJ Kennington, Canadian driver for Gaunt Brothers Racing, gets the free pass.
That's Drew Blickensurfer there, the 43 crew chief for Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, that's 28 cars still on the lead lap when Kennington gets his lap back.
That's a lot of cars.
Yeah.
Only 5 cars out of race. See if pit road opens this time and if the leaders come with 33 to go.
I'm going to say if I'm about Blaney on back, that's 10th. Might want to come in here and get me some tires.
Back at lap 73, Eric Jones collected Jamie McMurray, Trevor Bayne, and also Kyle Larson, with only McMurray able to continue. Damage for Martin Truex in that one also.
I just think things are going to ramp up here. The intensity. I would want a car that has as much grip as possible. I'd want some tires. I don't want to give up that track position. I get it. But, man, I want a car that's going to drive good so I can just go anywhere I want.
You know what would make this easy? If everybody came.
And the lead cars will stay out under this caution flag with 33 to go.
2-2, the 22 is your leader with 32 laps to go. It's been 36 races since Joey Logano has won a race. closing in if he can hang on here at Talladega. We're live, NASCAR on Fox, at an Outback Steakhouse race break with Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers. A quick recap. Talladega known for big issues, and Kurt Busch has one to start.
Yeah, you have to have your radio. We know how important the spotters are. The team had to scramble, but they were able to recover from that.
And eventually, Brad Keselowski wins stage 1 here. And then on lap 72, a 5-car crash.
Eric Jones gets loose off the corner. It made Jamie McMurray get a bit loose as well. They made contact, and you can see the result.
Nobody injured seriously in this, although Martin Truex, you saw you can't cut corners when we get to Talladega. Another Ford wins stage 2, Paul Menard for the Wood brothers. And where we are now, Ford's interesting. Roger Penske Racing, they've won 7 of the last 14 restrictor plate races. Stewart Haas, those Fords, they've never won here at Talladega, but Ford's sitting pretty good right now.
Yeah, and especially the Ford of Eric Almirola. I like that guy. He has a knack for restrictor plate racing. He knows where to put that car when it counts the most. He's driven up to the 2nd spot.
And Kyle Busch, who celebrates his 33rd birthday on Wednesday, going for his 4th straight, has not led at all today in his Toyota. That's your Outback Steakhouse race break.
Welcome back to the Geico 500 on Fox. The first 14 cars did not stop under that caution. Ryan Newman gave up 7 positions to get 4 tires, as did Chase Elliott and Bubba Wallace. Let's see how this sorts out. It'll be 29 laps to go when they get the restart green flag coming out of the tri-oval here. And the fans, huge crowd here at Talladega, they're back to their feet once again. Green flag. Joey Logano, Eric Almirola.
Mike, this is when a lot of trust takes place. You've got to trust your spotter. He sees things you don't see. When he tells you to move, you've got to move. You cannot hesitate.
And you can just throw patience out the door right now. I mean, I know they've still got 30 laps to go, but I think they're going to get really, really aggressive here trying to get this lead and then try to maintain it.
This is going to be 30 laps of holding your breath, because that's what every lap's going to be from here on out.
Kurt Busch 3 wide on the bottom.
Kyle on the top.
Almirola's getting caught in the middle.
Yeah, and Keselowski right there. He needs to slide up right there.
But the 18 on the outside has no help.
Well, and that's a Ford, Keselowski and a Ford. Almirola and a Ford, so he's trying to help him get back up through there.
Menard's
4 wide. Why not?
Isn't it funny how we go all day long and then this?
4 wide, 4 wide.
Right off a restart.
4 wide.
And Paul Menard had to check up. Kyle Busch came up the racetrack, took his line away. That's going to cost him a bunch of real estate. They're still 4 wide.
Look at that. They just move around like ants. They're just all over the place.
Guys, I've just been so impressed with Jimmy Johnson today. He's battled for every inch he's gotten on that racetrack. He's put himself in some good spots, and now he finds himself in the top 5. Great job by 07-time showing him that he's still got what it takes to win at Talladega.
Yeah, Michael, I mean, it was Bowman right there, Johnson right there, and Kane right there. Been hanging in there good all day, too. That's 3 Chevys against those Fords.
Vince.
You know, when they pitted Jimmy Johnson at lap 130, that's the stop before the most recent stop of fuel only. They were coming for just 2 tires, but miscommunication, they ended up putting 4 on. And Chad Knaus, the crew chief, joked, well, that'll just make you better to be able to pass all those guys. I think Jimmy took him seriously. But by the way, this is an easy day for Jimmy Johnson. Yesterday, he rode his bike nearly 70 miles and a 6,000-foot climb with a group of riders.
Wow.
So it's easy today.
You bet. How about Casey Kane in the 95? Restarted 17th with 4 fresh tires. Kane is up to 6th place.
I'm telling you, 4 tires matter here when it's this intense, and these cars have not been driving very well all day.
Yeah, when you got guys on the inside, outside, those tires help a bunch.
And right with him, Chase Elliott and Ryan Newman, who stopped for 4 tires the same time Kane did under this last caution.
I think that's a little bit of an advantage for a few laps here. It may not be that big advantage at the end, but right now it's a huge advantage. I'd want to try to take advantage of those 4 tires.
Started 17th with 4 fresh tires. Kane is up to 6th place.
I'm telling you, 4 tires matter here when it's this intense, and these cars have not been driving very well all day.
Yeah, when you got guys on the inside, outside, those tires help a bunch.
And right with him, Chase Elliott and Ryan Newman, who stopped for 4 tires the same time Kane did under this last caution.
I think that's a little bit of an advantage for a few laps here. It may not be that big advantage at the end, but right now it's a huge advantage. I'd want to try to take advantage of those 4 tires.
Don't count Denny Hamlin out of this thing. Ooh, David Reagan gets a little loose getting into turn 3. Don't count Denny Hamlin. I know he's a lap down, but he's fighting hard and pushing cars to the front to try to get that lap back. And if he gets that lap back, he's still a factor in this.
And he seems to have a knack for speeding on pit road, but he always seems to find a way to get himself back in the hunt at the end of the day.
We talked about Kyle Busch trying to overcome odds that he thought were as long as the lottery to win this thing. He's our Toyota top performer. He's run as high as 2nd. He has not led a lap today, but he's been as deep in the field as 23rd. And just in the space of a lap here, went from 14th to 20th, trying to make something happen on the high side. So he said he had a better chance of winning the lottery than winning 4 in a row here. Chance of winning Texas, 1 in 37. That's how many cars were in the race. Chance of winning both Texas and Bristol were higher. Chances of winning 3 in a row, 1 in 54,000. Chance of winning 4 in a row, 1 in 2.2 million. By the way, the chance of winning Powerball, 1 in 292 million. So his odds here are definitely better.
But he's the only one with that chance.
That's right.
But Mike, you're saying there's a chance.
Give me a chance, baby.
That's all you need is a chance.
I'll take a chance on him.
Well, till your chances get down to slim and none and Slim leaves town, let her go. Well, Larry said that Ricky Stenhouse needed a little driving trust, and he's climbed his way up to 7th spot, Jamie.
Well, he's had it. How about Ricky Stenhouse Jr.? 2 stops ago, he had that speeding penalty, went to the back. Then on this last stop, they opted to take 4 tires, put Packers in both front shocks, and make a track bar adjustment to make that car better. And here he is up here battling for 6th position.
Don't count Stenhouse out, trying to win his 2nd spring Talladega race in a row.
Yes, sir. That's another one of those fast Fords, but kind of sandwiched in between 3 fast Chevrolets, too. 88, 9, 48.
Oh, they're spinning.
Oh, Menard up and into Boyer, into the wall. Gets collected by McDowell.
Oh, no.
Keselowski crashes, and more cars are littered at the bottom of the racetrack.
Guys, I think that somebody may have gotten loose and got either into Jimmy Johnson or his car got loose and came down.
Here comes Jimmy through the middle of the melee. And
not sure Jimmy has much damage. How about the 18? 2 is crashed.
Certainly does.
We may have to list the cars that were not involved in this wreck. There might be less of them. Like Matt DiBenedetto.
I think Bubba's, I don't know, Bubba was in trouble, but I don't think anything. I don't think the 19 of Suarez did.
We're going to take a look at this from the Goodyear blimp and want you to watch William Byron in the 24 and Jimmy Johnson in the 48 as this develops.
Mike, this 3rd turn has been a problem turn all day long. I've seen cars get loose getting into 3 all day long.
You can see as the I don't know. I think that's the 48 as a right front fender. The 24 got close to the left rear, just pushed that air in that left rear and brought it around.
Wow. Gray Gaulding shoots the middle and makes it. Wow. And they just keep piling up.
Wow. Unbelievable. You see Bubba there on the right of the screen. Don't think he hit anything.
So you see the 24 starts coming up. Look, it just seems like the air changed and allowed that 48 to just get loose.
Yeah, the 48 and the 24. I think the 24 may have gotten on the brakes and that caused his car to get loose. But I don't know what happened to Johnson. That thing just turned sideways. And I've seen that time and time again up there in turn 3.
Casey Kane shoots through the black car with the yellow number on top.
I wonder if that wind direction over there has some kind of effect on the aerodynamics of these cars.
You know what
over
I think
there.
it is? I think they're going down that back straightaway so fast that when they get in the third turn, the cars wiggle a little bit.
Boy, great job by Ty Dillon getting that car slowed down. Saw it happening way out in front of him. His spotter obviously played a great role.
You also keep an eye on.
Oh, you can see Jimmy's loose right there.
He just turns down in front of the 24, and it's on from there. The 21 gets tagged.
And the wind is blowing from outside the track directly across the right side of these cars.
Look at
the
Levin
infield.
get scoot right through there. Hamlin
gets his lap back.
Unbelievable. Keselowski up the hill and torn up. 34 of Reagan. Sorry about that, McDowell.
Well, it's ride with Martin Truex, 2 laps down. This happens way in front of him.
Stop. Low. Just stop. Yeah, he good.
Yes, Clayton Hughes, you're right. Just stop.
Great advice. And we'll ride with A.J. Allmendinger.
Still outside, wrecking here. Come low. Keep coming. Keep coming. We got right side damage here, guys.
Storm.
Yeah, that's what
Still counting, but so far we have a list of 13 cars involved in that pileup in turn 4.
I guess Bubba did he? I can't tell if he got.
Austin Dillon hit him.
Got a little damage. Couldn't tell how much.
There's Allmendinger being pushed off. Jamie?
Yeah, and the 43, just to update him, I looked at him when he came into the pit box. He had some damage on that left rear, and they checked the toe. They think the tires are okay, so they're just looking at it, but they think they're okay underneath the car.
Vince?
Yeah, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson communicating with spotter Earl Bartlett, and Earl said there was no contact. They think that just the car behind Jimmy had taken the air off of Jimmy's car, and that's what caused him to dart toward the center of the track. And you see damage on the 24 of Byron, also a little bit of damage for Jimmy Johnson, but they have looked at the car, inspected it, and they believe it's okay. No worse for the wear for the 48.
Pit road open. And no, we didn't see any contact either.
Definitely not.
Well, Jimmy just spins and comes down the racetrack.
Right there, it starts to get a little sideways.
Yeah, I got hit in the left rear. I don't know how I spun. What happened there?
But that's what it feels like. You've been hit, and the way that car, you would never expect the car to get sideways and lose control in the middle of the corner when it's loaded up in the banking.
I've just seen that time and time again, particularly in the third and fourth turn. The cars just get a little loose. Guys been able to catch them. That time it was just a slow kind of spin.
The only thing I can point to are the flags outside turns 3 and 4. That wind is coming up and over the wall, and it's hitting those cars straight on in the right side as they go into that area. Now, don't know how much effect that has, but the wind direction is just like that, coming up and over.
Well, what we certainly know is the air affects these cars a lot, and what we can't see, we can see the flags blowing. What we can't see is how the air moves around the front fascia nose of that 24 car, and what that air is doing to the left rear of Jimmy Johnson. As he comes up the racetrack, it just turns the 48, and I think it's because that air is deflecting over to the left rear, causing it to get loose.
Yeah, these cars they have so much side force, those big flat sides, that when you start to disturb the air around those flat sides, the car gets out of control. I think that's what we're seeing. I think the wind's affecting a little bit, air from the other cars a little bit. You put it together, and you're going to have a disaster like we just saw.
We add Brendan Gaughan to the list of cars that did a nice job getting through there, as William Byron's number 24 goes to the garage. Paul Menard getting carried off. His car, that is. And that's A.J. Allmendinger.
And Mike, it's not a big surprise. I think when the end of the race gets here and everybody's okay, I can't worry about how my car's handling. I got to try to get the best finish. I got to try to win this race. This is what's going to happen. You're going to have situations like this.
Ouch. We're under caution with 19 to go. At least 13 cars involved in a turn 4 pileup. The racing doesn't end here. Coming up at 6 p.m. on FS1, the NHRA 4-wide Nationals from Charlotte, North Carolina.
A series only 5 races old has already enjoyed a season's worth of drama. From historic wins to major explosions, every trip down the strip begins another NHRA storyline. After NASCAR, keep your motor running as the NHRA unleashes 40,000 horsepower with final eliminations of the 4-wide National. Start time 6 p.m. on FS1.
The four sisters are both #1 qualifiers. Brittany in Top Fuel, Courtney in Funny Car. Jamie.
Well, pretty much everybody's been checked and released. Brad, I'll start with you first. It was a good run for you, but what did you see there that put you out of the race?
Yeah, I just saw the 48 spin. I don't know what happened to cause that, but we lost our track position there and couldn't seem to get it back there on that last restart. So that was a bummer, but that's the brakes here.
Thanks, Brad. Getting ready to go green. We'll hear from these guys. If we have time, we'll jump in with Clint Boyer. Clint, I know you're looking at the replay right here. What happened to you? You had a problem early on, and you guys are going to fight over the replay.
Actually locked our right rear wheel up coming on the pit road and flat spotted a tire. Had to come back in, got 2 laps down and got back 1 lap, and then finally got on the lead lap, and then we wrecked. So this wasn't our weekend, but things have been going good. I mean, the cars were extremely fast. All the Fords were fast like we knew they would be, and it's just a weird race. It really was, from single file stuff to get them bunched back up and no tires. I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios out there, and just wasn't our day.
Thanks, Clint. And Paul Menard won his first stage race. We're getting ready to go green. Paul, what did you see?
The 24 and 48, the 24 got moved up, 48 was coming down, and they stopped, and I got in at 24. Well, it kind of all came together right there. So really fast motorcraft, quick lane forward. We got shuffled back, and it's so hard to make up ground. We got the bottom rolling again pretty decent, and just ran out of real estate, I guess.
Thanks, Jamie. 18, now 17 to go. Joey Logano, who's led the most laps today, 53 of them so far. 4th straight restrictor plate race that a Penske car has led the most laps. He's in front of pole sitter Kevin Harvick, outside pole sitter Kurt Busch.
Boy, Mike, if I were everybody in this field, 88, 9 on back, those 3 potent Fords get hooked up at the front. That's going to be hard to deal with. The 22, the 40, and 41, those are fast race cars. The 9, the 88, they've been doing a pretty good job of hanging in there with them, but I don't know if they got anything for them or not.
Well, I think if they can get single file or nose to tail and work together as teammates, I think they have fast race cars, and they can go up there and battle with those guys.
There are still 22 cars on the lead lap as we are in the final 20 of this one. A couple of those with crash damage, but still anybody in this front 15 can win this race.
Yeah, and Suarez is back in 9th place, Mike, and he's the best Toyota right now. He's falling back.
I just think advantage right now, if I were to give one to anybody, of course Logano being out front is a good place to be, but when you have teammates that have fast race cars like Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch, and those guys can work well together, they can make that move to make that pass.
Well, you got your front row 2nd and 3rd right now, so you know they're fast.
Denny Hamlin in the 11 back on the lead lap.
Don't ever. I know he makes mistakes in the pits and speeding and everything else, but daggone if he doesn't seem to find a way to get back in the race at the end of the day.
Yeah, almost every time they have that issue or he causes that problem, they find a way, or he finds a way to recover.
Got a ways to go now. 19th with 15 laps to go. And 3 Fords lined up single file in front, and right behind them, engine number 9, Chase Elliott Chevrolet, Vince.
8 times a runner-up. Is this the day that he gets his first victory? Maybe it does happen here at Talladega, but he has certainly overcome. You know, they had to start at the rear after qualifying in the top 5. Then he had early contact on pit road with his teammate Alex Bowman. Then they had a pit lane penalty, so they have overcome a lot to be in this position, maybe a position to win their first race. Matt?
Eric Almirola dodged a huge bullet with the spin of Johnson and then his teammate William Byron. Coming back around under caution, the 17 of Stenhouse kicked up some debris. It went underneath the 10 car of Almirola. He thought his tires were going to be okay. He thought it hit the sway bar too. His spotter, Joel Edmonds, looked at all the tires. They said they were okay. But boy, what a huge bullet they dodged there.
And you just saw Casey Kane come up into Jimmy Johnson.
Well, I mean, the fact that Jimmy Johnson's still out there running is unbelievable, but he dodged a huge bullet the first time when he spun. That time he dodged another bullet because the 95 of Casey Kane just about did the same thing and got loose and got into the 48 car.
You know, Mike, I've always felt like the Earnhardts kind of knew something special about this joint. They always were really good here. But the guy driving that 9 car, his dad, Bill Elliott, I remember Bill making up 2 laps here to win the race. Now I know he's only got to pass 3 race cars. He doesn't have to make up 2 laps, but don't count out that 9 car.
And when Bill did that, he did it under green. There was no free pass back in the day.
He did it all under green.
William Byron released from the care center, as has been Austin Dillon. A.J. Allmendinger.
One thing we know for sure, you can't do it by yourself. Not with restrictor plates these days. You have to have somebody that's willing to go with you. If they like the move you make and they think it's going to help them advance forward, they'll go with you. If Chase Elliott can have that happen by Ricky Stenhouse, he can make that move to get up there.
12 laps to go as they come by the line. Back to Jamie.
And William Byron has been checked and released, led 14 laps today at your first race here in a Cup car. What happened? The other guys weren't really sure what led to this.
Yeah, honestly, I think I got side drafted going into 3 and got me a little bit free, and then I think I just packed some air on his left rear. I haven't seen a replay, so I can't really tell, but hopefully one of our guys can get it done. Just kind of unfortunate that we couldn't get to the end of the race, but had a pretty good race till the end, so we'll learn from it and come back here in the fall, hopefully have a even better run. Thank you.
I don't know, but the 9 car jumped out of line right there. I don't think I'd have done that just yet.
Well, and I said you got to have somebody to go with you, and he had Ricky Stenhouse Jr. behind him, gave him a big push. He had a big run, but unfortunately Stenhouse stayed with those other Fords on that inside lane.
Yeah, now you got 4 Fords running in the front. And I know we've seen the Ford guys work together good all day long. So I know all they care about is if Ford wins this race.
But Larry, those first 3 Fords, Logano, Harvick, and Kurt Busch, have not been to pit road since lap 145. Is that going to play into this?
Well, they did fuel only, but Kevin Harvick in that 4, his last time to change tires was 130. He got 4. Joey Logano got 2. And then Kurt Busch got 4 as well, like Kevin Harvick at 130. So the big difference is on the tire situation is fresher lefts on the 4 and the 41, Mike.
And I think that's 2 guys, the 4 and the 41. If they're going to do anything, those 2 are going to team up on Logano.
Well, and I'll tell you who has 4 fresh tires is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. makes a big move to try to block the 9. You can't make that move if you don't have fresher tires. That's where tires make a difference right now.
Ricky Stenhouse can make that move. I wouldn't make that move, but he can and got away with it.
David Reagan hanging tough in the 38 as well. They're in 6th place. Larry.
Well, I have looked at the last 10 spring Talladega races, and the average of the last caution is with basically 5 to go. In fact, 7 of the 10 times, it was in less than 5 to go, and just for a little bit of addition, we've had 4 overtimes in those 10 races.
Do you have any good news?
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yes, it is from up here.
Grip that steering wheel a little bit tighter, fellas.
And those guys in front right now, Logano he's trying to think about, so what is Harvick going to do? He's trying to think about what evasive move do I need to make if Harvick does decide to do something. The biggest thing he can do is block him, but that opens the door for the 41. So there's a lot to be decided just yet.
Speaking of Kurt Busch in the 41, he is one of the best wingmen On these restrictor plate tracks, he got Ryan Newman to victory lane in the Daytona 500 several times. He's been the runner-up that's helped a teammate to victory. He's in position to do that for Kevin Harvick right now, should he choose to.
And what that tells me, who's in the best position, is the 4 Kevin Harvick.
Busch looking for his first top 5 finish of this season.
Well, when you got the guy that sat on the pole right behind you, and the guy that sat on the outside of the front row right behind him, you might consider yourself to be in a bit of trouble.
And last year's winner here, right behind them.
Yeah, so I mean, it's setting up for a pretty amazing finish here.
4 Fords in a row, then Chase Elliott Chevrolet and David Reagan's Ford, number 38. He's given that car a heck of a ride. How about Chris Buescher in a Chevrolet in 7th, Alex Bowman's Chevy in 8th. Kyle Busch is the first Toyota in 9th, and Jimmy Johnson hanging tough in 10th.
No, you know, there's so many things you don't like about Talladega, but one thing I love about Talladega is at the end of the day, you look up there and you see a Reagan, you see a Buescher, you see these guys that you don't talk about a lot, and here they are with a shot to finish the top 10. That's pretty big.
I just don't think those top 3 are going to do anything right now until maybe that final lap. They are very comfortable, but go further back than that. Stenhouse, a little bit of a wild card because we've seen him want to make some aggressive moves. I don't think he likes the position he's in. Then the 9, the 38, all the way back, they want to try to make a move. They just don't want to be the first one to do it.
If the nickname Wild Child hadn't been taken by Jack Howdenchild, I would put it on Stenhouse.
Yes,
I totally agree. But here's Stenhouse's problem. The only car that could help him is the 9 car of Elliott, and that's not enough help.
Well, and he just hung the 9 out when he tried to go to the outside. Then the 17 to Stenhouse didn't go with him.
I don't disagree. I know he'd like to be able to do something, but I just don't think he's got enough help.
Now keep in mind, Joey Logano hasn't won a race in over a year. He's out front. Here's some David Reagan audio.
Help us out. If he'll follow me, I'll get him to the top 5. So tell him to help me out if we have an opportunity to here. I'm not.
Mike, what I love, how many times would you hear David Reagan be talking to someone about work with me, I'll get you in the top 5? I mean, we don't hear that every week. And here he's got a shot of actually doing that.
Now, right now, you're talking to your spotter, getting your spotter to go up there and make as many deals as you possibly can. Now 5 to go.
Last time by Mike, leader 48.54, 48.53 on second, 48.54, 48.51. First cars, throw a blanket over them.
Well, let's go back and look at our last restrictor plate race, the Daytona 500. Take the top 10 finishers and see where they're running today. Only Joey Logano and Chris Buescher figure into this one. Buescher in 7th.
How about Buescher? Buescher's pretty steamy on these restrictor plate tracks, but I think Bernie and I, we had the same idea.
Amarola with the run coming, starting to make that outside lane work. He's got some helpers up there. Chase Elliott's recognizing it. He's trying to see if he needs to go up there and get in front of that line.
Well, that 19 car behind him, Suarez, he's been fast today too.
4 laps to go. Chase Elliott's radio.
Now 3 back. They're just loose. They can't get tight the top lane. Double wide 3 back.
Eddie DeHaan sounds frustrated. His spotter.
Yeah, he knows if there's not somebody stacked up right behind on the rear bumper of the 9 car, that he's got nobody that's going to help allow him to make any moves. He's just sort of riding along right now.
Yeah, I just think the stability of the cars keeps these guys from making any of those wild, crazy moves that we have kind of come to expect down here. I just don't think the cars are that stable.
Well, I fully expect it to come here pretty soon.
Joey Logano out front. He's not won since last April. On the roof for Logano, TJ Majors, Dale Earnhardt Jr. spotter for many years. They were masters of restrictor plate racing. Is Logano the Pied Piper today to bring them home, or is he in the sitting duck position?
Well, and Darrell, Mike, the one thing I will agree with, in order to make that move, you've got to stack it up to the car behind you. You got to almost get on the brakes and back up to the front bumper of that car to get that big shove. With the cars not being as stable right now, I don't know if you can get aggressive doing that.
I don't either. And look, you heard Reagan say, I'm going to, with 2 to go. This time by, we're going to have 2 to go. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen over the next lap and a half.
Well, yesterday, Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano were in the booth for the Fox coverage of the Xfinity race, and they talked about strategies and finishes, just like the one we're about to have.
Here comes a big push from the 38 to the 9 car. That's going to give the 17 a pretty good run.
I've been watching these guys, Jeff. Harvick's been backing off a little bit.
There goes the 41, going to get to the outside of the 4.
But he's got nowhere to go.
The 9 to the outside of the 17.
41 went up to cover.
Shake and bake, baby, shake and bake.
Harvick trying to block both lanes at once.
I'll tell you one thing, that 41 car, I wouldn't put anything past him.
Stewart Haas Racing has never won at Talladega or at Kentucky. They've won everywhere else.
Somebody's got to break free of the 9 and the 38. That lane has to break free, or maybe the 17 can give a run.
White flag waves, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. And here comes Stenhouse on the outside with Almirola.
He's looking, and Almirola's a lot of help. I just don't think they can get to the front, though.
Yeah. Stenhouse, Elliott, Almirola, Newman on the outside.
Mike, I just think that's going to stack everybody up side by side by side. That's what Logano wants to see.
If the 41 can get stacked back up to the front bumper of the 17, he might be able to get a run on the 22.
And here comes Reagan on the inside. I'll get you to the top 5. Follow me.
Kurt's going to have to get back there. I just don't think he's going to be able to do it if he's that close to the 22. Here comes a little bit of a push from the 17. Is it going to be enough?
The race is on, though. The start line way down here.
Everybody on their feet. Logano's going to go top to bottom to keep Kurt Busch at bay. And Joey Logano wins Talladega. Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Ricky Stenhouse, the top 5.
What a day for that 22 car. Second and 2 stages of won the race.
Job, Joey. We got us a win at Talladega. Awesome job.
He can finally talk.
Great man, guys. Great man.
His last win was a year ago at Richmond, and a penalty took away the benefits of that win for making the playoffs. Been a long drought for Joey Logano. Here's today's 5-hour energy big move of the race, and it is Joey Logano controlling the last lap of this race.
Yeah, you watch him here. I mean, he's watching his mirror. He's looking behind him. He doesn't really have to look where he's going down that back straightaway. He sees the 41 getting a little bit of a run up on him, but the 4 and the 17 are so far back side by side, it's killing their momentum. And now it's just blocking. This all it is. It's just be sure don't let that 41 get a run on him.
He sees the 17. I think his spotter probably told him the 17 had a little bit of a run. I just think it materialized a little bit too late.
Yeah, I just think those cars behind them all being side by side, and it just really hurts your momentum. And boy, look at the 9 car slip through the middle there and finish 3rd.
Joey Logano taking home the checkered flag is today's Sunoco fueling victory. It's his 19th career win in his 337th start. And he's the 2nd driver this year to end a winless streak of 36 races or more. His 3rd victory at Talladega and 7th straight season with a win in the Monster Energy Series. 108th career win for Team Penske. Joey Logano victorious at Talladega.
Face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, and the losing skid officially over for Joey Logano. Up and out of the hat. You know, the last 6 races here at Talladega, he's won 3 of them, and so he has more wins here at this track than any other track in his career. He'll celebrate his 28th birthday next month, but enjoying the moment, let's head to victory lane.
Like a jack in the box, Joey Logano popping out. What did you learn about this package? You've been in this situation before to hold those guys off.
Man, what a fast Ford teamwork is what did it today. Not only with the Team Penske Fords, but all of the Fords out there. Kevin and Kurt and everyone. We worked really well together, and we got a blue oval in victory lane, so proud of that. So proud to get the Shell Pennzoil team back in victory lane.
It's been a year.
You're telling me. I know. It's, man, it feels so good to be back in victory lane. There's no feeling like this, so. Woo, it feels so good. It's got to thank everyone that supports us. Obviously, Roush Yates Motors, they brought the power down here. They qualified well with Kevin and able to bring home a win. A lot of stage points as well. Coca-Cola, Wheels Up, Snap-on, AAA, Auto Trader on the quarters this week. And it's just, it's been quite the weekend. It's a long time coming. We've been getting consistent and scoring points, but the win was, we knew, just right around the corner. And man, it feels so good just to, gosh, I don't have to worry about the whole playoffs thing anymore. We're in, and God, it just feels really good.
Third win at Talladega, Vince.
Well, season best finish, second place for Kurt Busch. When it's so close like that, I know you got a woulda, coulda, shoulda, how that one could have played out differently, but what's your initial thought?
Just felt like I needed to do something different, and I needed to run from behind the 17. Once he broke up Kevin and I wanted to stay with Kevin. My plan was to roll with Kevin till the last lap and then slingshot by him on the outside. The 17, percentage chances say he's going to be the strongest guy here at the end. He was there. I just needed him closer to my rear bumper to get that draft and to get that run, but him, Elliott, everybody's running side by side, getting all they can, and it just didn't quite materialize. I got outfoxed. I didn't quite make the right move, and it's a shame. It was one of the best Fords I've ever had. So thanks to Doug Yates, all those guys building the engines, Monster Energy, Haas Automation. We're there. You know, I thought we could have made the move at the end with the 17. I just didn't get him.
Gave it a run. Well done. Second place. Jamie?
Well, Kevin Harvick, his teammate, led 12 laps today. It was exciting at the end. How would you describe today?
That was a great day for our Busch Beer Ford. The guys have done a great job of making improvements to the cars that we bring to the track. We were way off on the handling at the beginning. They made great adjustments, and from there we were really competitive and in position to have a chance to win. And the problem is the Fords are so fast. We had 5 or 6 of them lined up down there in the bottom, and Kurt went to the outside a lap before I was ready to go and wound up getting hung out there. But everybody did a great job, and just got to thank everybody at Roush Yates Engines, everybody at Stewart Haas Racing, and especially everybody on our number 4 team that works on this Ford.
Kevin Harvick happy to finish this one at Talladega. Chris?
With Chase Elliott, Chase was 4th place today. An eventful day. You had some contact on pit road earlier, a later tire penalty, uncontrolled, and you still managed to get in the mix. Did you think you were having a shot at it?
Yeah, our Napa Chevy was good. It wasn't, I don't think, as fast as we've been previously at the restricted plate tracks, but I felt like it was a solid car. I got to the end, and those guys around me were working together so much. I thought for sure one of them wanted to win a little worse than what they did. They were being very patient with one another, and I was surprised by that. So, if it was me, I feel like I would have wanted to try or do something. Those guys weren't having it. I was trying to move forward and make a lane and push, and they were not interested in advancing. So could have been a lot worse, so we'll move on to Dover.
Patience at Talladega. Boy, we don't hear that one too often, Chris.
No, and Joey Logano, the final 42 laps. It was 15 years ago today. When this guy set the trend coming out of the hatch. And Joey Logano, the most recent to do it. That's Michael Waltrip. I'll get more thoughts from him on Joey Logano's big win for Ford here at the Super Speedway.